ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांस्य। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तनम् हृद्यन्तस्त्व भद्राणि विधुनोति सुरसतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। सर्वशास्त्रादि पीयूष सर्ववैदिक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्त रत्नाद्य सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवतो प्रभु कलिद्वन्द्वोतितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाथाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेवाय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। मद एक बंधु मद संगेन मद गुरुन् मद महानदा मद निस्तारक मद भाग्य मद आनंद नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधु तादाइन अति नीचोत ताकरा हा नामुंचा कदाचिन मां प्रेम न हृत्कंठयो स्फुरः। O Srimad Bhagavatam, O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Accompanied by pure love of Krishna, please manifest yourself in my heart and in my throat. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining. Nice to see all of you. So we had, hope everyone had a very blissful and enlivening Janmashtami and festival and Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja festival. So we are back now. Okay. Okay, so we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter number 21, title Conversation between Manu and Kartama. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick review of the chapter. We have covered until, let's say, text number 12. And then from 13, we'll actually discuss Kardamuni's prayers. Okay, so we'll restart from text number 13. But just an overview of what we have covered till now. Okay. So in the previous chapter, we have actually seen how Maitreya Rishi is actually summarized, and he's brought the theme back to the aspect of creation, right? And he actually summarized that entire aspect of creation in a chapter, and he's talked about, like, from Mahat Tattva, how all the elements are actually manifested. He talked about all that. And now, as soon as he's come to the point, did a quick review. Now, Vidura, naturally, he asks more questions. He's always so eager to hear. He's Shraddha Dhana, with great faith, he's hearing this message. And he actually asks. So this chapter again starts off with Vidura's questions, and Vidura actually asks that please describe Kathayatam, please describe Maithuna Ida Prajaha, these Prajaha, and he's actually talking about Vamsha Parama Satamaha. Vamsha Paramaha Satama. Parama Satama is the best of all dynasties. Please describe this glorious dynasty of Swayambhu Manu. Now, one may consider that Vidura himself is actually, one way, he's either Vanaprastha, one way you can say Vanaprastha, he's left his kingdom, right? He's come out, he's traveling to all holy places. He's Vanaprastha, he's renounced, right? Maitreya Rishi is anyway renounced. Now, both of them, who are actually cross Grahastha ashram, they are Vanaprastha or Sannyas ashram, they both are asking, we want to hear about Grahastha ashram, the people in this dynasty, right? So, and then we actually discussed this last time, that why. So Vidura is actually asking that, like, what were the progeny of Swayambhu Manu? How did the procreation actually take place? Because we discussed that this is so glorious. There's so many great devotees, so many great, actually, so many great devotees, and not only that, but Supreme Personality of Godhead actually appears in this dynasty, not only once, but again and again. And hence, Vidura wants to hear. So it is not a matter of which ashram it is a matter of devotion. And that's what Vidura is actually eager to hear about: devotees, devotional service, and Krishna. Right? So in this dynasty, who all have appeared, we discussed Kapila Dev appeared, great devotee like Dhruva Maharaj has appeared, Prithu Maharaj, who's actually an incarnation of Supreme Personality of God, he has appeared, then Rishabh Dev has appeared, then Bharat Maharaj, the great Bharat Maharaj. So many, like Krishna appears again and again in this dynasty, and Vidura is actually eager to hear. And then he actually says, okay, two sons are there, like you have already mentioned, Priyavrata Maharaj, Uttanapad. So I want to hear about their dynasty. And then three daughters, right? Akuti, Prasuti, Devahuti. Right? So I want to hear about all these three. How did Devahuti get married to Kardam Muni? How many children they actually had? So that is another question. And right. So, and then Maitreya Rishi, he actually starts explaining, and of the five, he actually starts off by explaining Karda Muni and Devahuti, right? And hence this chapter is titled Conversation between Swayambhuva Manu and Karda Muni. So, Karda Muni is one of the sons of Brahma, and how he actually got married to a daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, Devahuti, and how did that actually take place, and how many children they had, etc., etc. That's what is Vidura wants to hear. Right? So from text number 6, we see that when so Brahmaji's instructions for everyone was what? What instruction did Brahmaji give to all his progenies, all the sages, all his sons? That you go ahead and create progeny. Right? Everyone got that instruction because that was Brahma's task. He had to populate this entire world. So he said, okay, Kardamuni, you go, you actually create progeny. And when Kardamuni was actually instructed, then what did he do? He went and he said, okay, I have to do a very important seva now. I have to create progeny. I want to make sure that the progeny is very qualified. So before actually engaging in the act, I will perform austerity for 10,000 years. Hmm. Imagine, before having children, when we discuss this point, that one actually performs austerity. Garbhodam Sanskar, Prabhupada again mentioned importance of Garbhodam Sanskar. But the main point here, we see the sages, they perform austerities, and then they are like, okay, now I'm ready, I'm purified. Now I will actually engage in this task of procreation. Hmm. Now, like, one question one may ask that, Brahma created these 10 sons, right? And here we are reading of Kardamuni, how he's procreating, having children. But why was Brahma not happy with their procreation? We read previously how Brahma, in spite of having those 10 sons, he was not happy. And said, and in that state, he was actually saying that, I created all these sons, but still I'm not happy. And then finally he created who? Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. But now we are reading about his son, Karda Muni, and how he's procreating. So why was Brahma not happy with this procreation earlier? Anyone wants to say?
There was no late. I mean, they didn't have wives, right? There was only sons.
Okay, yeah. We didn't have wives. And the main reasons our acharyas actually point out is when these sages like Kardamuni were actually asked to create progeny. First of all, they say, I'll go meditate for 10,000 years, then I will come back and create progeny. And imagine if you want to create progeny, and every one of your son is like, okay, 10,000 years, I'll come back, then I'll do it. So then Brahma was like, okay, they are going to meditate and then do it. I need someone like Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa who can actually right away create progeny, populate the world, right? That's my desire. So Kardamuni, he actually worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead for 10,000 years. And also we read previously how in text number 7, it is said that how did Kardamuni actually do this austerity? Yuktena Kriya Yogena. What is Kriya Yoga? Prabhupada explains the Kriya Yoga and the purport as Bhakti Yoga. Because only through Bhakti Yoga can the Lord actually be pleased and appear in front of Kardamuni. So Prabhupada explains that Kriya Yoga that Kardamuni actually performed was actually done in Bhakti Yoga or devotional service. And he did it for 10,000 years to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? And okay. And then in text number 8, further he says that how the Lord actually became pleased and he appeared in front of Kardamuni. Right? And then text number 9, 10, 11, and 12, 4 verses is describing the beautiful form of the Lord that Kardamuni had actually seen. Right? So how is it described? He saw that how the Lord was effulgent like the sun. Right? There was a garland of the first point actually is explained is that Virajam. Virajam means without contamination. The form of the Lord has nothing material to it. Without contamination, he's effulgent like the sun. He has Sita Padma Utpala Srijam. He has a garland made of white lotus, and which is the other flower? Lilies, white lily, right? So white lotus and white lilies. He has a garland made of that, right? And then he has blackish blue locks of hair, on his forehead, like curled hair on his forehead. Um, right, and he's wearing a Virajam Ambaram. He's wearing a yellow dhoti, spotless yellow dhoti. Kiritinam means he has a crown. Kundalinam, he has earrings. Shankha Chakra Gada, and here actually he's not holding a Padma, but he's holding a Shweta Utpala. So he has conch, disc, mace, and he has a white lily. Right? So instead of lotus, this time he's holding a white lily. And then what is that? Kridanaka manaha sparsha smita ikshanam. So this actually comes later today in the verses also we'll read that what was this effect of Kridanaka manaha. So the Lord, he glanced and smiled at Kardamuni, and because of the glance and smile at Kardamuni, it actually touched the heart of all devotees. That is the glance and the smile. And we'll see today how Kardamuni was actually affected by this glance and smile of the Lord. Then further it is described Garut Mataha. Garut Mataha means Garuda, right? So how was the Lord? He was actually seated on Garuda. The lotus feet of the Lord was on the shoulder of Garuda, right? And right. Okay, and then Kastuba, Kandaram, he had Kastuba on his chest, right? And golden streak, Kastuba on his chest. Right? Okay, so this is a form that the Lord, that Kardamuni actually saw. And what was Kardamuni's reaction? Jata harshaha. Naturally, he became harsha. He became jubilant. And then labda manaharataha. His transcendent desire was fulfilled, right? He was actually doing 10,000 years to actually see the Supreme Personality. And finally, the Lord has appeared. right? So he was actually, his transcendental desire was fulfilled. Apatat murdhana shitau. He actually fell down on the ground with his head on the ground to offer obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Right? And Priti Swabhava Atma. His heart was filled with what? Priti Swabhava, with love for God, and with folded hands, Krita Anjalihi. Right? We hear this again and again. Krita Anjalihi. With folded hands, he actually offered prayers to the Lord. Right? So text number 13. So we did 13, 14, but we'll actually redo them. We'll quickly go through 13, 14, and then we'll continue with the prayer. So from 13 unto 21 are the prayers of Kardamuni to this form of the Lord. Right? Okay. Any questions up to this point? If you have read the purport of text number 12, Prabhupada really goes into detail of Patanjali Yoga system. Right? So Patanjali Yoga Sutra is like a whole book where Prabhupada is actually bringing out the key points of Patanjali Yoga system in this. And he's actually concluding and making the point that how finally the goal of this Patanjali Yoga system is finally to actually see the Supreme Personality of God face to face. Right? That's the whole point. Right? Otherwise, what's the use? Okay. Any questions up to this point or comments up to this point? Okay, well, fun question. Which is the previous prayers that we read? In the previous chapters, which are the prayers that we have read? Think about it. Just to review that, what sections have we covered previously?
Brahma and the demigods prayed to Lord Varaha after he killed Hiranyaksha.
Yes. Okay. So one was after he killed Hiranyaksha, one was actually when he appeared. At that time also there's prayers. Okay, what are those prayers we have heard, we read recently? Go think of previous chapters. What all chapters have we covered?
The Kumaras prayed to Vishnu when he appeared in front of them.
Kumaras to Vishnu. Oh, you're talking of that episode of Jai Vijay and the four Kumar? Are you talking of the episode of Jai Vijay and four Kumar?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so now we have got back all the way to that aspect of where Vidura actually asked about this killing of Hiranyaksha, right? And that's why Brahmaji is actually saying that entire story of Jai Vijay. Okay. Anyway, so we can keep going back and we can think about what all prayers that we have read previously. The appearance of Varahadev, we read those prayers, and then Brahmaji's prayers. Okay. Okay. So let's continue Kardamuni's prayers. So text number 13. Okay, let's start.
Rishir Uchuhu Jushtam Vatadya Kila Satvarashe Samsidyamakshnostava Darshananaha Yadarshanam Janmabhir Idya Sadbhir Asha Sate Yogino Rudha Yogaha.
The great sage Kardama said, O Supreme Worshipful Lord, my power of sight is now fulfilled, having attained the great perfection of the sight of you, who are the reservoir of all existences. Through many successive births of deep meditation, advanced yogis aspire to see your transcendental form. Hare Krishna.
So what is the point? The first thing that actually Kardamuni is actually saying, that seeing your form is the perfection of my eyes. Right? So he actually says, Idya, O worshipper Lord, bata ha. Right? So we discussed this last time. Why is Kardamuni astonished seeing the Lord? And didn't he actually pray that the Lord comes and gives darshan? But why is he actually expressing his astonishment here? Anyone remembers?
He's astonished that even though he's not so qualified, the Lord appeared in front of him. He's feeling not so qualified.
Yes. So imagine like he did austerity for 10,000 years and he's saying like, I didn't do proper sadhana, but still the Lord has appeared. Yeah. So imagine us, like sometimes we chant and some for a few years like, why is Krishna not appearing? I'm calling him, right? So here he's actually expressing astonishment. And he says, Akhila Sattva Rasa, O reservoir of all goodness. And then his expression is, I have not done suitable sadhana, but still you have appeared, right? And then he says, Samsindim Akshnaha, right? It is complete success to my two eyes because Samsiddhyam, because today I'm actually taking darshan of you, right? So Prabhupada in the purport, he points out that the perfection of the eyes is to see the form of the Lord. Perfection of our ears is to hear Hari Katha. Perfection of our taste is to taste Krishna Prasadam, right? So all perfection of all our senses is actually when they are directly experiencing Krishna, right? There's another very nice verse. This comes in, let me share my screen, in the Venu Gita, right? So this is 10:21:7, where the gopis, they actually say similar. They say, right, so actually it's the last line here. Anurakta Kataksha Moksham. Yeah. So if you see a translation here, for those who have eyes, we think there is no greater object of vision. Right? So for us, eyes, no greater object of vision is actually to see the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. And then further, he actually makes the point that how do you say that seeing the Lord is actually the a perfection of the eyes? And he's actually giving an example and he's actually elaborating on this point. And he said, Janmabhi sadbi asasate yogihi, Ruddha yoga. Even yogis who actually perform meditation life after life for so many lifetimes, they are unable to see your form. But now you have shown that form to me. So certainly the highest perfection of our eyes is to have direct darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada makes a point further in the purport. He says, all senses, when they are engaged in relationship with the personality of Godhead, that perfection is actually called Bhakti Yoga. So what is Bhakti Yoga? There are two things. We have to detach our senses from sense gratification, and we have to engage our senses in service of the Lord. Right? So that is actually the process of Bhakti Yoga. And the verse here we can think about is Sarvopadi Vinyamuktam Tat Paratena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchate. Right? With our senses, with our Rishikena, we actually serve the master of the senses, and that is the definition of pure devotional service. Right? Who is a perfect example of this? Who used all of his senses in service of the Lord?
Amrish.
Ambarish Maharaj, right? Perfectly. In we see this in 9th canto text, chapter 4, text number 18 to 20. Prabhupada quotes the first line of the shloka again and again. Savai mana Krishna padaravindo vachamsi vaikunta gunanuvarnane karo harer mandiram marjina disho shrutim chakar achyuta satkathodya mukunda lingalaya darshane drusho tadbritya gatra sparsha anga sangamam. Let me quickly share my screen. So this is text chapter 9. So 9, 4, 18. Okay, yeah. So मैंने कृष्ण पद so मुकुंद लिंगाय दर्शन दृशो तद भृत्या गात्र स्पर्श अंग संगमम ग्रहाणाम च तद पाद सरोज सौरभे. So basically we see in translation, Manaha Krishna Padaravindayo. His mind was actually engaged in the two lotus feet of the Lord. Vachamsi. His words were what? Vaikunta Guna Anuvarnane. Describing the glories of the Lord. Karo. His hands. What are they doing? Hare Mandira Marjana Adishu. Cleansing the temple of the Lord. Shrutim. His ears. What are they? Achyuta Satkatha Udaya. In hearing about the glories of Achyuta. Mukunda Linga Alaya Darshana. What are his eyes? To actually see the deity form of the Lord, right? And then Tad Bhritya Gatra Sparshe. What is his body? In embracing or touching the devotees of the Lord. Anga Sangamam, like that. Okay, touching. And then sense of smell, Grahanam. What do you smell? The lotus flower that's actually offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, or the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Rasanam, his tongue, in Tat Arpite, prasadam of the Lord. Pado, his two legs, in visiting the holy places like Vrindavan, Dwarka. Pad Anusarvana, oh yeah, walk, okay. Then Shira, the head, in offering obeisances. Pada Abhivandane, in offering obeisances to the lotus feet of the Lord, right? So that's it. So this is actually how Ambarish Maharaj is showing, using all his senses in service of the Lord. And Prabhupada often quotes this shloka to make the point that this is devotional service. Every sense we want to engage in the service of the master of the senses. Okay, next verse. Let's go to text 14.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So here we are reading that Gautama Muni is expressing astonishment that I did austerities for 10,000 years, but I am not qualified and still you gave darshan to me. But Prabhuji, to Dhruv Maharaj, Lord gave the darshan within 6 months.
So, I mean, the point here is how much our austerity a devotee does, his mood is always what? That actually, Krishna, I have not done anything for you. But still, you are so merciful, you have appeared in front of me. Whether it's like 6 months, 10,000 years, 10 million lifetimes, still the mood will be like, Krishna, I have not done anything for you. But still, you are so kind that you have appeared in front of me. Right? That is the mood. That is the main point here that, that Kardama Muni is actually expressing. And the reason I pointed this out is this is the mood of humility that Kardama Muni is actually expressing. Because in the next few verses, he further elaborates on that mood of humility. That how I have all these material desires. In spite of performing austerity for 10,000 years, my heart is not purified. I still have material desires. And that way he's going to offer praise.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, in the same context, is Kardama Muni doing this austerity for pleasing the Lord, or he was doing it so that he can have a proper consciousness? Because it's important to know the reason of austerity, like the penances, and so that the Lord came. He is performing his devotional service, like as we said, with his krita, with his activities, senses. He was doing the tapasya. So, is it for procreation? He wanted to have a proper mind, or was it for pleasing the Lord?
So, I mean, it's both in the sense that, yes, it is, because he's engaging devotional service, he is actually pleasing the Lord. But his pleasing is with the desire to actually fulfill the instruction of Brahma. And further, we'll read in the verses. He actually says that Brahma gave me this instruction. But Brahma's instruction is not independent from your instruction. You gave that instruction to Brahma and Brahma has given the instruction to me. So it is actually your instruction. So I am pleasing you to fulfill your instruction. So certainly just for you. I mean, it's just like if, our guru gives an instruction. Okay, I want you to go and do this. And we actually say, Guru Maharaj, I'm serving you. Just, please empower me to do this for you. I mean, that's completely for Guru. Right? So that way, Kardamuni is doing this austerity for Krishna because he wants to fulfill the desire of Krishna. We'll see that further in the verses. We'll see the mood. Okay, text 14.
Ye mayayate hatamedhasastvat padaravindam bhavasindupotam upasate kamalavayate sham rashi shakaman niraye piyesyuhu.
Is it text 14?
Yes.
The translation: Your lotus feet are the true vessel to take one across the ocean of mundane nations. Only persons deprived of their intelligence by the spell of the deluding energy will worship those feet with a view to attain the trivial and momentary pleasures of the senses, which even persons rotting in hell can attain. However, O my Lord, you are so kind that you bestow mercy even upon them. Hare Krishna.
Right. So here he's actually making the point. Ye Maya, those who are actually covered by Maya, what is their situation? Hata Medhasaha. Medhasaha means, we have seen this word, right? Sumedhasaha, intelligent. Hata Medhasaha, without intelligence. Right? So if your son is naughty, you can say, oh, you hata Medhasaha, you who have lost your intelligence, right? So ye Maya, those who are covered by Maya, hata, you have lost your intelligence, they have lost their intelligence. Why have they lost? Pada Aravindam, those lotus feet of the Lord, which are Bhava Sindhu Potam. Potam, we have heard this word before, like a boat, right? Bhava Sindhu Potam. So those lotus feet, which are actually a boat that can carry us across the Bhava Sindhu, right? That lotus feet, right? You know, I mean, if there's a boat that can take us across the material ocean, we should just jump on the motor and say, forget everything, I just want to go. But those who are covered by Maya, those who have lost their intelligence, what do? Upasate Kama Lavaya. They actually worship those lotus feet for what? Kama, to fulfill their own material desire. And how is it? Lavaya, this is actually so trivial. You know, like how that story of like that lady who had this stick of wood on her head, right? And falls down. Say, oh Krishna, please help. And Krishna comes and says, okay, what do you want? Can you please put the stick back on my head? And Krishna is right there. He can give us like liberation, he can take it back home, back to Godhead. We're saying, no, proves this. So that is like foolish, right? So basically here, those who have lost their intelligence, though the lotus feet can take us across material ocean, they actually worship you for kama lavaya, for trivial pleasure. And then he further says, kaman niraye, and that kind of pleasure which is actually available even to those who reside in hell. Even those who are in hellish condition, they are actually engaged in that sense gratification. So what is that? It is a simply trivial pleasure, right? But further he ends with what? Rashi. However, like those are foolish people. However, you actually bestow, you fulfill the desire of even those people. Why? Why does Krishna fulfill the? Okay, what is the example first? Let's see the example and then we'll come to why. Someone approached the Lord for material desires, and the Lord fulfilled his material desire. Who is it? Dhruva Maharaj. And perfect example, right? And then, so why does the Lord fulfill the desire? I mean, when Dhruva saw the Lord, the Lord actually touched his conch on the head of Dhruva, and Dhruva chanted all these prayers. But after that, in Bhagavatam, it says Dhruva was not happy. Right? And then he actually, Prabhupada often makes that statement from other Puranas that how Dhruva realized, I was actually asking for broken pieces of glass, but now I've actually got the time. But why does the Lord actually fulfill the desire of these devotees who actually approach him with material desires?
Purification for the material desires so they can be satisfied.
I mean, but that's not the point, that Krishna actually wants to purify them in such a way that they actually go back home, back to Godhead. So Krishna can say like, okay, you want this kingdom? But that is nothing. I will give you Vaikuntha. You come back home, back to God. Why does the Lord fulfill these material desires of the people who actually approach Him?
Prabhuji, we say that Kama Sarva Kamava, whatever desires we have, even if we have material desires, we should approach Krishna. So Krishna is setting the example, saying that whatever desires you have, you just come to me, I will fulfill them.
Okay. Okay. Something more?
And also, mm, as we read in the verse, Krishna says that if these people are foolish, they are asking for something which is not good for them. So I will give them something which is good for them. So Krishna is the best person to decide whatever is good for him, he will give us.
So, okay, so we'll see the answer here. But let me actually share my screen. Okay, so Prabhupada actually elaborates on this. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further makes the point that Lord fulfills the material desires of these people, though he is actually reluctant to do that. Right? He does it, but he is actually reluctant to do that. Why? Right? So Lord fulfills the desire with the hope that that not giving up bhakti, sometimes they actually lose their desire, right? So fulfilling material desire and not final okay. Let me one minute. Let me again say that. So here Vishwanath Thakur is making the point that people worship you, the ocean of mercy, for fulfilling material desire. This is their foolishness, right? Certainly, we discussed that point. But you give them those pleasures profusely, though you are reluctant. You say, okay, here, take it. But Krishna gives it like with reluctance. Why? If you did not do so, they, not knowing the happiness of bhakti, would quickly give up devotion to you. Imagine someone with material desire, they come to Krishna, and Krishna said, I'm not going to fulfill your material desire. They'll say, okay, Krishna, you're not fulfilling? Let me go to the demigods. They quickly fulfill. Right? So Krishna fulfills with the hope that these personalities will, after receiving that thing, will realize, actually, this is nothing. What I really want is bhakti. Yeah? You do so hoping that by not giving up bhakti for some time, they will lose those desires. Right? They are turned to Krishna, right? And Krishna is giving them with the hope that they actually lose all those desires. Fulfilling your desire, fulfilling those desires is not the final intention of Krishna. Right? Since fulfilling, okay, here another interesting point. Since your desires for son, wife, family, and wealth will lead them to hellish birth. However, since there is a rule that karmas lead to heaven or hell, but that enjoyment given by you does not generate karmas, those desires do not really lead to bondage. So, what is the other point here? That Krishna is actually fulfilling. Normally, when you approach demigods, they fulfill the desires, and those fulfillment of desires leads to bondage. Right? You get more money, you worship so and so demigod, get money, and you'll be attached to your money. And then because of the attachment, you further bondage. But when Krishna fulfills the desire, he does it in such a way that actually it does not generate that bondage. That means what? Like how Dhruva Maharaj, he got the kingdom, right? But was he actually attached to the kingdom? We see after that in fourth canto described, he enjoyed the kingdom for a long time, but in that mood of detachment, in the mood of devotion to the Lord. So Krishna fulfills the desire in such a way that a person is not attached to those items. And at the same time, he actually is purifying that personality. Right? And hence, so after making this point, we conclude and say, akama sarva kama va moksha kama va. Hence, even if you have material desires, turn to Krishna. Because he'll fulfill in such a way that there will no longer be any bondage. At the same time, he will actually purify our consciousness. Okay? Is this point okay? Why Krishna actually fulfills our material desires? Are there any comments to this point? So we have discussed this section earlier also. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Okay, first few, can you see my screen? Yeah. So first few verses basically in this reference is how Prabhupada actually in the purport is actually referring to these verses that there are two kinds of devotees. One who actually have material desires and one who are actually have no desires but the desire to serve Krishna. Right. So then further Prabhupada actually is referring to these that how in Bhagavad Gita Krishna actually makes a point that four kinds of people they turn to Krishna. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritana arjuna artho jigyasu arthati jnani cha bharatarshava. So who are they? The distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and those who are searching after knowledge. Right? But what does Krishna actually make the point? He says. Okay. So he actually further makes a point. Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta. And he further says that all these four are actually magnanimous souls because they have come to me. Because they have come to me, they are actually magnanimous souls. And then further he says, Kamastase Rita Jnana Prapadante Anya Devata. Because they are, those who are intelligent stolen by material desires, they actually approach other demigods. Right? Okay. And okay, so that's the one thing. Now, other further in this is Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is chapter 22. Krishna actually in this section, Krishna's response to bhakti with material desires. So you see 36 to 42, right? So whatever may be one's desire, whether everything or nothing or liberation, he's intelligent. If he's intelligent enough, he will worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Now, what is Krishna's reaction to someone who actually approaches him material desire? Anya kami yadi kare, Krishnera bhajana. Anya kami. He has other desires, but he's doing Krishna bhajan. Na magite Krishna tare, dena swacharana. Krishna mercifully gives shelter of his lotus feet to those who engage in bhakti with desires for material enjoyment, although they did not ask him. So he's giving shelter of the lotus feet. Even though they are not desiring, Krishna is actually giving shelter. Why? Krishna kahe, ama bhaje mage vishaya sukha, amritachari vishaya mage, ei bara murkha. Krishna says, if one engages in my loving service, but also wants material enjoyment, he is foolish, like a person who gives up nectar and he wants to drink poison. But then Krishna says, Ami Vigyaya, I am intelligent. That person is a fool, but I am intelligent. Ei murka vishaya kena diba. Since I am intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? And then swa charnamrita diya vishaya bhuleya. I shall give him the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget material enjoyment. So Krishna here, what he's saying, Krishna gives the shelter of his lotus feet, but he does it in such a way that the person actually forgets that material enjoyment. And here, this is actually from Bhagavatam 5:19-27. Satyam dishati artitam artito nrinam. Krishna undoubtedly fulfills desires, but not in such a way that that will cause one to again petition him to fulfill further desires. So he fulfills a desire in such a way that he will actually not again ask for those desires. Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet, where one will forget all other desires. Right. And then here, when one worships Kamalagi Krishna Bhaje, when one worships Krishna for sense enjoyment, and instead, what does he get? He gets a taste, Paya Krishna Rase. He gets a taste for serving Krishna. Then Kamachari Dasa. He gives up material desire and willfully he becomes a Dasa, servant of Krishna. And the example of Dhruva is right here. And he says, Dhruva said to the Lord, I did austerity seeking material opulence, but now I have gotten you, which is very rare even for demigods. I was searching after. So this is a line Prabhupada often quotes. Swamin kritarto asmi varam na yache. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. So I am so satisfied. I do not wish to ask any benediction from you. That satisfaction of serving Krishna is such that, that one says, okay, nothing more, no more material desires, right? So this is the best section of, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which actually talks about how Krishna deals with those who approach Krishna with material desires. So this is Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text number 36 to 42. Okay. Is this part okay? Very clear. Like this section makes it very clear. Everyone okay at this point?
Prabhu, for example, before having mother, I was having, I should have a son. He'll be nice, taking care of me. He has given me one that I don't have any such desire. If all those don't have.
The mother is giving her own personal example. So yes, Krishna actually fulfills her desire in such a way that he'll actually give us also purification of heart. Okay, text 15.
तथा स चाहं परिबोधुकामः समानशीलां गृहमेढधेनुम् उपेयिवान्मूलमशेषमूलं दुराशयो कामदुगान् ग्रिपस्य.
Hare Krishna, translation. Therefore, desiring to marry a girl of like disposition who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in my married life. To satisfy my lustful desire, I too have sought the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of everything. For you are like a desired tree. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So so what is so first verse was what did Kardamani say in the first verse? That seeing you is the perfection of my eyes. Right? Second verse, what he's saying? That those who have lost their intelligence, Hatha Medasa, they actually worship Krishna for material desire. And what is the connection between one and two? One, you're saying that, oh, Krishna, your form is so beautiful is a perfection of mind. And second, he's actually saying, people who have lost material desires, they worship you. Those who have lost their intelligence, worship you for fulfilling material desires. Now, third verse is actually saying that he's making the point, Tatha, similarly, such I also, I also, what? Aham parivardho kamaha. I also have some material desire. What is it? I desire to marry Samana Sheelam, a girl of like disposition, and Grahamedi. So I want to enter married life, and hence I want a girl of like disposition. And Prabhupada elaborates, what does this mean? Like disposition. Upayemi, and hence I have approached Moolam, your lotus feet. Moolam Ashesha, which is actually the source of everything, and Kama Dugdha Angiparya. It's like a desire tree. Right? Actually, your lotus feet are like a desire tree. You go to a desire tree, you ask for anything, the desire tree will actually give you. Similarly, your lotus feet are like a desire tree, and hence I'm approaching. But I have a material desire like those people, and hence I'm actually asking you, please give me a Samana Sheelam, a girl of like disposition. Now, is this desire of Kardamuni really material? He's comparing himself with those people who are Hatha Medasa, who have lost their intelligence, and they are approaching Krishna with material desire. Is the desire of Kardamuni actually material here?
He is just fulfilling the desire of Brahmaji, the instructions that has been given to him.
Right, so that will be the next shloka. We'll see that point. Okay. Now we'll elaborate on this point. Right. So first thing Prabhupada actually makes a point in the purport that in spite of condemning those people who actually approach Krishna for fulfilling material desires, Kardamuni is actually expressing, Prabhupada says, he expressed his material inability and desire before the Lord, right? He expresses a material desire before the Lord. So Prabhupada is clearly saying here that he had this material desire, he's expressing that material desire before the Lord. Okay, then further, what's the point that Prabhupada says in the purport? Okay, yeah, okay, so let's discuss this point before going to the next point. So first point here is when we have material desires, what is our mood to the Lord? Now, there may be some material desires which are like, oh Krishna, I want a good, stable household life. Is that material desire? Yes, I mean, that is a desire. Yeah, it's not a desire to, in one way we can say that it's not a desire directly to serve Krishna, but we have the desire that, oh Krishna, let me have a good household, stable life. But is that desire for most of us essential for engaging in bhakti? At least in our stage, it may be yes. So there are certain desires which are not directly service to Krishna, but at our stage in bhakti, it may be important that we are in the stable life, because if our entire household is shaken, or then maybe we may not be strong enough to actually continue our path of bhakti. So those kinds of desires, what we have in our heart, which are not directly like pulling us away from bhakti, at this stage of our life, we may actually go to Krishna and say, Krishna, honestly, this is my situation right now. If you shake my householder, maybe I cannot do it. So at least I have the desire, I'm admitting in front of you. So one way, like when you actually say, when Rupa Goswami defines devotion, Anya Bhilasita, he doesn't say Anya Bhilasha. Anya Abhilash. Abhilash means desire. Anya means no other desire other than desire to serve Krishna. But he actually says what? Anya Abhilasita. And Rupa Goswami actually elaborates that why is that additional syllable after Anya Abhilash? Why does he not say just Anya Abhilash? Why is he saying Anya Abhilasita? To make the point that sometimes there may be some desires which are not contrary to Krishna, but it may be important that those desires are there, just so that we can continue bhakti. Just in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he gives the example of like Draupadi asking for protection. I mean, is that a desire to give pleasure to Krishna? Not necessarily. But still, Rupa Goswami accepts that in the aspect of devotional service. He says, no, those emergency situations are okay, right? So practically for us, certain things are required. We need, good household, stable life, so that we can actually practice bhakti, right? Right. So those kinds of desires. So here, when you see Kardamuni's desire, one way it is in that mood that, finally I want to fulfill the instruction. But for that, I need a wife, right? Without that, how can I fulfill that desire? So we may need, a stable life, household, enough income, right? So that I can be. And as we progress, then we are not dependent on these things. You should understand that this is a desire which is not directly to please Krishna, but as we progress, then Krishna, whatever you want, my only thing is to serve. Right? So we can see how we are advancing in Krishna consciousness based on what are the things that we need to actually engage in bhakti. And gradually those needs should reduce, where we are, Krishna, whatever you want to do, I will just continue to serve you. Right? So that should be our progression. So that's the first point. But at this stage, we can be honest to the Lord, oh Lord, this is my desire, as long as it's not like contrary, like, oh, Krishna, give me this new car, or give me this, that gross material desire, we just want to like throw it away. But certain things are maybe required, right? Okay. Next thing, next point Prabhupada actually says that why is Kardamuni asking for Samana Sheelam, a girl of like disposition? Right? And here it actually Prabhupada elaborates that how that even previously, even 25 years ago, Prabhupada said that when there is a match, right? Boy and a girl are getting a prospect to get married, then they used to consult a horoscope, right? Because Prabhupada makes a point, the factual union in psychological conditions. Okay. And then Prabhupada compares that, it is important that the boy and the girl be of similar nature. And that's why the horoscope was actually consulted. I mean, now one thing is, maybe the science of astrology is actually, not many people are qualified, but, before marriage, because such an important decision, Prabhupada is still stressing that, at least we should do astrological match to actually see what is the compatibility of the wife and the husband. So before marrying, one should select a wife of like disposition and not be enamored by so-called beauty and attractive features for sense gratification. How they say, love at first sight and divorce at first fight. So that's what happened. If your whole thing is based on love at first sight, then divorce at first fight. That's what will happen, right? So hence it's so important that it's not only just a physical attraction, it is actually, you're actually seeing the nature, you're seeing the compatibility, and it's Prabhupada is talking about that, right? Okay. And then further, Prabhupada is actually making the point, the wife is necessary to assist in spiritual and material advancement. Wife yields fulfillment of all desires in dharma, artha, kama, right? And then he makes the point that one who has a nice wife, he is actually very fortunate. So according to astrology, if you have wealth, if you have good sons, if you have good wife, three things, like wealth, good sons, good wife. All three are fortunate. But of these three, one who has good wife, he's the most fortunate. Why? Because if you have a good wife, then naturally you get good sons. And wife actually helps in fulfillment of dharma, artha, kama. So you will get all those things. So of those three, one who has actually a good wife, he's actually most fortunate. And Prabhupada is making in terms of astrology, he's making this point. Okay. And then also, right. And why does he say, therefore, desiring to marry a girl of like disposition, who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty? What does it mean, cow of plenty? Anyone knows? So one is, when you say cow, it is actually indicating the nature of a cow. How a cow is actually so submissive in nature. So in the mode of goodness, right? So similarly, he's asking veritable. The other point is actually he's making the point that I want a cow. Why? Because I have become a bull. And bull means what? No intelligence. So I have also lost my intelligence, hence I need a cow. That's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's example, right? But the other one more point I want to mention here, that let's consider the situation that Guru has given you an instruction. I want you to do so and so. Now, what is our mood going to Krishna? Our mood to Krishna should be, Krishna, I want this. My Guru has given me. Please fulfill my desire right now so that I can serve my Guru. One may say that, right? Krishna, please give me this because I want to serve my Guru, right? But is that Kardamuni's attitude? He got the instruction from Brahma. But what is his point? He's actually saying, I have lost, my desire just like those other people, and hence I'm asking you this. Actually, he is doing it just to fulfill the desire of Brahma and Krishna. So here we see the mood of Kardamuni's humility. Like how even in the first shloka, what did he say? I am not qualified in my sadhana, yet you are giving me darshan. He's expressing his mood of humility. Right? So we see that mood of Kardamuni, that how he's such a wonderful devotee. He's expressing his mood, his humility in such a nice way. Okay, next 16.
Prajapatiste vachasadi loka kirayam kamahat hatto nuvadaha aham chaloka nugato vahami balim cha shukla nimashaya tubhyam.
Hare Krishna. Translation, O my Lord, you are the master and leader of all living entities. Under your direction, all conditioned souls, as if bound by a rope, are constantly engaged in satisfying their desires. Following them, O embodiment of religion, I also bear oblations for you who are eternal time. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so another very important point here. So, so first thing is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, how he likes to do. Whenever there are these conversations, he actually reveals an inner conversation, right? So he's actually there's an inner conversation between the Lord and Karda Muni going on. The Lord is actually saying, okay, you are saying that those who have lost material desire, they approach me, for those who have lost their intelligence, they approach me to fulfill material desire. So Lord is saying, then why don't you use your intelligence and worship me without desires? I mean, see, people who have lost their intelligence, they say, Krishna, please give me a new car, new house. Okay, because they don't have intelligence. But you're saying that you know that those people have lost intelligence. Then why don't you worship Krishna without desires, right? So the Karda Muni is saying, actually, Brahma speaks only according to your instructions. And we are bound by the ropes of your instructions. Hence, I'm actually asking you for a wife. Then the Lord actually says, let materialistic people be bound up. Why don't you give up the desires like the four Kumaras? I mean, you are so advanced. Why do you want to get entangled in married life? Become like the four Kumaras. Take up sannyas. Practice bhakti. Right? And Karda Muni actually said, actually, my intelligence follows common people. I cannot be like Narada and the four Kumaras. Like a bull, I am bound by the rope, and therefore I carry this offering to you. So, okay, let's go to the verse. So, Adhisha, O my Lord, Prajapate Vachaha, Tantya Loka, all conditioned souls are bound by the ropes of your direction. Kila Ayam Atmaha, indeed you are conquered by, indeed they are conquered by lusty desire. Anubhata Aham, I am also bound. So, all the people here, conditioned people, are bound by the ropes of your direction. And actually, they are all conquered by lusty desire. And I am also conquered by the lusty desire. Why? Loka Anugata. I'm just following the conditioned souls. Right? Therefore, Shukla, O embodiment of religion, Animisha, existing as eternal time, Vahami Bhalim Tubhyam. I am offering these oblations, prayers to you, desiring a wife. Desiring a wife. I'm doing this puja. Why? Because I desire a wife. Why? Because everyone is bound by the ropes of your instructions. I am also just like the common people. I am also bound by those instructions, following the common people. Hence, I need a wife. So Prabhupada, first point in the purport, he actually says that how the Lord is the leader of all living entities, because the shloka, he's actually saying, uh, yeah. So he's actually making the point, Nityo Nityanam Chetanasya. Prabhupada is quoting this point in the purport and saying that, because in the shloka it says, Prajapatehe, you are the master of all living entities. So Prabhupada is elaborating and he's saying that how when we say Nityo Nityanam Chetanam, Eko Yo Bahunam Vidadati Kama. Right? Out of so many eternals, there is one eternal. Out of so many conscious beings, there's one conscious being. And what is the difference between this one and the rest? Eko Yo Bahuna Vidadati Kaman. That one is actually maintaining all the other living entities. Right? And hence Lord is the master or the leader of all living entities. Therefore, no living entity is independent. All of them are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Right? So everything belongs to the Lord. Therefore, one should not encroach on another's property. Which verse is this?
Ishavasham idam sarvam.
Ishavasham idam sarvam yet kinchit jagatam jagat tena taktena punjita magrita kasya siddhadanam. Actually, Ishwaran Prishad makes a point that everything in this world belongs to the Lord. Therefore, we should accept only those things which are meant for our quota and not accept other things, knowing to whom they actually belong. Okay. Then further, a question may be raised. Just follow that second paragraph. Very interesting point Prabhupada is saying. Since Kardamuni was advanced in spiritual life, why did he not ask the Lord for liberation? Right? He could have said, Krishna, you're right here. Give me mukti. Why did he not do that? Why did he want to enjoy material life in spite of personally seeing and experiencing the Lord? I mean, imagine the Lord comes in front of you and you say, Krishna, give me a good wife. And you'll be like, this is so stupid. Lord is right in front of you and you're asking him that, okay, for this lifetime, you want a good wife. That's very stupid. But Kardamuni is so advanced, 10,000 years of austerity. Why did he not ask for liberation? The answer is that not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. It is everyone's duty, therefore, to enjoy according to his present position, but under the direction of the Lord or the Vedas. Right? So not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. So I had asked this question earlier then.
Even after seeing Lord Prabhuji, he saw the Lord, still he's not qualified to be liberated.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought after seeing Lord, everything will be good.
So the point here is, see, okay, let me go back. I was actually going to pose this question. If someone actually gives you, okay, right now you have an opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. Right? Or, after this lifetime, you can have a choice. What would you select? Like being honest with ourselves. Will you select right now? What about your daughter? Shouldn't you get your daughter married? Maybe after she gets married, I'll go back. What about my son? I should do. I mean, we have attachments in this world. If we are really honest right now, go back home, back to God. Would we really take it?
If Krishna says Prabhu or someone else says that.
How does that matter? A guru comes and says, okay, right now, back home, back to God.
I will go if he takes care of all my duties.
See? I will go if. And we have to be honest. Right? I mean, our children are there. We have like attachment to our children. Like, okay, I want to get my son married. At least like these responsibilities are taken then. Otherwise, how will my children manage without a mother? All those attachments are there. Right? Krishna is giving an opportunity right now, but we still have attachment. We have to be honest. What is our situation right now? Right? It's easy to say, yes, right now I'll go back home, back to God.
But Prabhuji, when Narad Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj has a conversation, Yudhishthir Maharaj says, Narad Muni says, you give up and leave. Then he said, oh, I have this family, this thing. And Narad Muni said, oh, you think you are the one who's maintaining everyone?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So then okay, immediate, give up. Right? So when Guru comes and tells us something like this, then probably I'm not qualified. Probably I'm not supposed to get liberated, but he will make my qualification. Right? Tomara Karuna Shar. You are the one who can.
But the
empower.
willingness has to be from our side. Guru is willing to give us, but it has to come from our side that Guru Maharaj, yes, I want to do it right now.
Obviously, I mean, yes, that 100% surrender has to be there. That if Guru asks me to go, like how Tamal Krishna Maharaj was given to China, I mean, that was a big thing at that point. But because of that surrender, even if we are not qualified, I mean, he will make the attachment cut off. Like there is a saying, right, Prabhu, that Nitai says that if somebody takes shelter of me, I will cut off all his vishay. And if he still does not leave my shelter, I become his, I become his. So that could be a big test of Krishna at the last moment, At that time, should I hold on to this glass or be like Dhruva Maharaj? Right?
I mean, like, see, the point I'm trying to make is, it is easy to say that, okay, yes, right now. But practically, there may be some things that are, okay, yes, I want to go back home, but, or if Krishna, you take care of this, then I'm ready. Kardam Muni is actually making the point. When Prabhupada says, not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. It is everyone's duty, therefore, to enjoy according to his present position, but under the direction of the Vedas. So Prabhupada is making the point that certainly some people will be in that position where they're like, okay, right now I want to do this, and then after that I will actually go back home, back to God. But how are you doing those activities of this? Again, under the umbrella of the Vedas. Right. So Kardamuni desiring to get married, have children, procreate, all those things are under the direction of the Brahmaji. So it's not against, but he's not ready to right away give up. In that conversation between Vishwanacharya Thakur and the Lord is saying, you're intelligent. Why don't you ask for liberation? Right? And he's saying, I'm not like the Kumaras. See, Brahmaji gave same instruction to, let's say, 3 personalities. Kumaras, go and procreate. Kardama, go and procreate. Priyavrat Maharaj, go and procreate. All 3 did different things. Kumaras procreate, no Brahmaji. Don't want to get entangled. We are going to live brahmachari whole life. They left. Kardamuni, Brahma said, procreate. Okay, I will do it. I'll perform a sorry for 10,000 years, then I'll procreate. Right? Third case, Priyavrat Maharaj. Priyavrat Maharaj, what did he do? Initially, he said, I'm following Kumaras. That's it. I'm just going. I'm never going to get married. Brahmachari, Kumaras, those are my ideal. I'm just going to do that. And a later stage, when Swayambhu, Manu, and Brahmaji say, come, and Priyavrat Maharaj is already renounced. And they come to Priyavrat and say, Priyavrat, we want you to get married because there's no one else to continue. So you get married. And Priyavrat is like, I'm Brahmachari. I'm following the 4 Kumaras. How can I get married? And Narad Muni is like, he's in Brahmachari ashram. Why are you taking him out? Let him remain in Brahmachari ashram. But then Swayambhu, Manu, and Brahmaji actually insisted, no, you should create. But you do it in such a way where you will not be attached. You enter Grahastha ashram, but still don't be attached. And Priyavrat Maharaj said, okay, this instruction is there, I'll do it. So all 3, they had different situations of how they fulfill the instruction. But who is right? Is one of them right and the other 2 wrong? No. Everyone, all 3 are right because all 3 are acting based upon their position at that point. And similarly, Kardamuni right now, he's saying, this is my position right now. I'm not breaking any principle. I will follow your instruction, but this is my position. Hence, I want a wife, get me married. And then after that, I will get children. After that, I will renounce and then I'll come back to you. So that question of Kumaras, right now, back home, back to God, or do my duties, but do it in Krishna conscious way, and then go back home, back to God. Kardamuni is selecting option number 2. Okay, but that does not mean that Kardamuni is wrong, 4 Kumaras are right, or Priyavrat Maharaj is right, others are wrong. Right? So it's a very important point. So practically in our life also, we can actually see what is our situation. Like how in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say? Mityachara sa uchyate. Right? Mityachara means what? That, we are like, okay, I just want to give my life to Krishna. Okay, I'm joining the Brahmachari ashram. I'm joining the ashram, but my heart is full of desire to get married. Mityachara sa uchyate. Right? So we don't want to become Mityachara. We want to be honest with what is our position right now, and we actually come to Krishna. Krishna, this is my position right now. This is what is needed, which I feel is needed for me to continue my bhakti. So certain aspects I'm going to do in a Krishna conscious way, and then gradually I want to come back home, back to God. And that may be our position. And may others whose position is like, that's it, right now, full time, 24 hours, seva to Krishna, back home, back to God. But that does not make one right or one wrong. We are just acting based upon our nature right now. Okay, that's a very, very important point. Okay, next verse. Let's go to text 17.
Lokamscha lokanugatan pashumscha hitva shritaste charanatapatram parasparam tvad gunavada siddhu piyusha niryapita deha dharmaha. However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities in discussions with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of the material body.
So why is he, if you see, now what is Kardamuni making the point in this verse? That he's saying lokams cha loka anugata. That those who are lokan, those who are engaged in worldly affairs, or loka anugata, those who are following those who are engaged in worldly affairs, and pashun, or those who are actually like, just like animals. They hitva, those who are give up all these three categories, lokan, loka anugata, and pashum. They give up all this, and shrita charana atapatram. They take shelter of your lotus feet. And how do they take shelter of your lotus feet? We discussed this point before, right? What does it mean to take shelter of lotus feet of the Lord? To hear Harikatha, right? So he's making the point. They take shelter of the lotus feet. How? Parasparam tad guna vadaha. And they actually discuss with each other the qualities of Lord. And how is that? Two points. Siddhu and Piyusha. Siddhu means intoxicating and Piyusha means nectar, right? And Niraya Pita Deha Dharma. So those who have given up Lokanugatan and Pashun, they actually take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by discussing Harikatha, which is intoxicating and which is nectar. And by that, they extinguish all the needs of the material body. So how we see Kardamuni, he's switching between back and forth. First, he talked of like, my eyes are perfected. Second, he actually says, those who have lost material desire, they actually, those who have lost intelligence, they pray for material desire. Third, he actually made the point, I am also like them. Fourth, he's actually saying what? Actually, those who are, they give up, they actually just take shelter of the lotus feet, and that taking shelter of lotus feet extinguishes all material desire. So we can see here that Kardamuni's heart is actually to completely dedicate himself to Krishna. But right now that instruction is binding him and he's saying, I'm going to follow the instruction, but I'm going to do it in that way. But his heart is just want to hear Harikatha, right? Okay. Prabhupada makes this point in the purport further. He actually says, right. After describing the necessity of married life, Kardamuni asserts that marriage and other social affairs are stereotype regulations for persons who are local. Right. So how, Prabhupada is very nicely making the point. He talked about necessity of married life, and now he's saying that, this is actually for those who are addicted to sense gratification. But those who are engaged in transcendental devotional service, giving up all stereotype activities, are freed from social conventions. So basically, like how in the previous verse he said that everyone is bound, conditioned souls are bound by you, right? By your instructions. But here Prabhupada is actually making the point. And Kardamuni is saying that those who take shelter or those who engage in Krishna consciousness, they are actually free from that bondage. They transcend the influence of time, past, present, and future. And further, he actually says, how the verse in Bhagavatam, Devarsi Bhutatman Rinnam Pritinam, right? The one who has actually taken shelter, 11.541, one who's taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, for him he has no obligations. No obligations, right? No debts to pay, right? Hence, such devotees, they do not care for conventions of material activities. And then Prabhupada says, they boldly take to that shelter, which is like an umbrella against the sun of repeated birth and death. Such a nice sentence, Prabhupada says. They boldly take to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which is like an umbrella protecting from what? The sun of repeated birth and death. Okay. Now, right. Further, Prabhupada points out how does constant transmigration of the soul, which is a cause of suffering, terrible. It's like a terrible fire. But then, how can the forest fire be extinguished? Samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya gana ganatvam. Karunya, The spiritual master is an ocean of mercy, and he showers the nectar, right? Downpour of water from the cloud of the mercy of Guru, which actually protects us from this forest fire of repeated birth and death. Okay. And then the last point here, Prabhupada actually says, only, let's see, where is the sentence? Last sentence. Only by drinking the nectar of chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord can one forget the intoxication of material existence. So what comes first? Giving up the intoxication of material existence and then relishing the nectar of Krishna Katha? I mean, like, don't we read that who is qualified to relish Bhagavatam? Who's qualified to relish Bhagavatam?
Nirmatsanam, non-envious.
Non-envious, right? So first we have to become non-envious, then we can relish Bhagavatam. Isn't that true? I mean, that's why Bhagavatam shlok is there, right? Nirmat saranam satam. You have to become non-envious, then you can relish Bhagavatam. So which is first? Getting free from the anarthas and then relishing Krishna Katha?
Krishna Katha is for everyone. Whosoever will read it, he will become non-envious.
So only by drinking the nectar of chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord can one forget the intoxication of material existence. So Prabhupada is making a very important point here. So we talk of anartha nivritti. That's an important stage of clearing out the anarthas in our heart. But he's actually making the point that anartha nivritti can happen only by artha pravritti. Right? So I can share one now. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, he actually talks about this important point. Just share my screen. Yeah.
Prabhuji, what did you say? Anardha nivritti happens with Ardha Pravritti?
Yeah, I'm showing on my screen.
Oh.
Okay, here. See, this is Bhakti Saraswati Thakur speaking. Until now, we have not arranged for the public singing of Leela Kirtan. The reason for this is that it is very secret position. However, so he's making that, all these pastimes of Radha Krishna, or, here particularly talking of Ashtakalya Leela, he's saying we have not spoken because it's very, very confidential. However, it is the ultimate object of our practice. But lest anyone make the mistake of thinking that anartha nivritti is the only goal and it is not necessary to enter into artha pravritti, I have had Ashtakalya Leela Kirtan performances started. That we should not think that anartha nivritti is our goal. Our goal is to actually artha pravritti. Right? To know that you are not all ready to hear such kirtan, but I know that you are not all ready to hear such kirtan, but I want you to know that such a transcendental ideal exists within the realm of devotion, which is the reason that you must engage in anartha nivritti. After anartha nivritti comes artha pravritti, or the real world of service to the divine spiritual couple. Right? If we do not know that this is a goal, all our efforts may become transformed into impersonalism. And then hear this. Anyone who has been chanting the holy names for 15 or 20 years should take note of this. All those who are just beginners have no need of listening to these kirtans. They will get the wrong idea of what is being sung. These kirtans are for those who are sevan mukha, who are eager for service, and not for everyone. So, and here further he actually makes a point. Artha pravritti is also necessary. Anartha nivritti is important, but anartha nivritti is necessary until artha pravritti has started. When artha pravritti is present, then anartha nivritti becomes a secondary consideration because artha pravritti becomes prominent. Okay. So what is the point here? The point here is, yes, Krishna Katha is the solution. Right? Krishna Katha is the solution. What does it say? Yasyam Vaishyamanana, Krishna Parama Purushe, Bhakti Udbhate Pumsha, Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what's going to happen? Shoka, Moha, Bhaya, all is going to get washed. Right? But what aspect of Krishna Katha are we hearing depends on our level of advancement in Krishna consciousness. You know? And based on our level, we have to decide at what point are we ready. Actually, we shouldn't decide. Actually, a guru should go and ask a guru, am I ready for the next stage? Am I ready to go deeper into pastimes? And the guru, seeing our progress, will say, okay, now I want you to hear so-and-so, deeper pastimes, deeper pastimes. So Krishna Katha is ultimately a solution that will clear us of anarthas, but the level of what we are hearing has to be very, very careful. Okay. Now, text 18.
Nate Jaraksha Bramir Ayuresham Trayodasharam Trishatam Shashti Parva Shane Myananta Chadiyatrinaabhi Karala Shroto Jagat Achitya Dhavat.
Hare Krishna. Your wheel, which has 3 names, rotates around the axis of imperishable Brahman. It has 13 spokes, 360 joints, 6 rims, and numberless leaves carved upon it. Though its revolution cuts short the lifespan of the entire creation, this wheel of tremendous velocity cannot touch the lifespan of a devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So which verse is it similar to? The lifespan of everyone is taken away except for those who hear Harikatha. Which is verse?
Uttama Shloka Vartaya, right?
Yes.
Ayurharati
Ayurharati Vaipumsam.
Udyan Astancha Yan Aso Tasyarte Yachano Nitya Uttama Shloka Vartaya. Right? By rising and setting of the sun, lifespan is taken of everyone except for those who actually hear Harikatha. Uttama Shloka Vartaya. So here what does it? It elaborates on that point. Ajara Aksha, the axle of imperishable Brahman. So imagine a wheel, right? The axle of the wheel is the imperishable Brahman. And the wheel is rotating very fast. Brahmi, rotating very fast. Right? Na ayu esham. It cannot, this wheel cannot touch the lifespan of devotees. What is this wheel made of? How many spokes are there? Okay, first Trayodasha. 12 months. Okay, so what is Trayodasha? 13, right? 13 spokes. What is 13 spokes? 12 months plus 1 Adhik Mas. 13. Okay, 13. What is 360 joints? This everyone knows. 360 days and nights. Right? Now, what is 6 rims? 6 seasons. Ritu, right? 6 seasons. So now we don't know about 6 seasons. We just know spring and fall. Spring and fall. Right? But in India, we had we had autumn season, right? So there are 6 seasons. And in India, I mean, now it's all mixed up, but in India it was defined. Okay, these are 6 seasons. 6 seasons. Ananta Chari. Ananta Chari means innumerable leaves. What are that? Unlimited edges in the form of seconds. How many seconds are there? Unlimited seconds, right? Then Trinabhi. What is Trinabhi? This is very difficult. Trinabhi means 3 sets of 4 months. How we have Chaturmas? Chaturmas is 1 period, and then you have 2 other periods. So Trinabhi is 3 groups of 4 months. Right? Then yeah, that's it. Right? So there's 13 spokes, 360 like the joints, 6 rims, so 13 months, 360 days and nights, 6 seasons, innumerable leaves, and then 3 groups of 4 months. Karala Shrota Jagata Achaya Davan. And this wheel, which is constantly rotating with the axle of Brahman, is cutting short the lifespan of entire creation with tremendous velocity. Very fast, everyone's lifespan is being taken away. Right? And why is Kardamani making this point? Because previously he made the point that how just by those who have surrendered unto you, they actually hear Harikatha. Right? And that way they actually, which is Piyusha and Siddhu, they actually take shelter of your lotus feet. Right. So Prabhupada and purport, he actually says, in Bhagavad Gita, it's stated that little execution of devotional service saves one from greatest danger. What shloka? Shloka? Come on, famous shloka. Neha vikramo nasasi pratyavayo savidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahito bhavat. So even little bit, you'll be saved from the greatest danger. And what's the greatest danger? Transmigration of soul from one body to another. Further, Prabhupada says, Harim vina na mritim taranti. Without the mercy of the Lord, na mritim taranti. One cannot stop the cycle of birth and death. Right? And how do you stop the cycle of birth and death? In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated only by understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord and activities. Shloka? All basic shlokas.
Janma karma cha me divyam.
Evam
Karma
Vedati.
karma cha me
Ye-
divyam. Right? Evam yo veti tattva tapta deham punarjanma naiti mahameti. So, this is a proper all shloka. Right? Okay. Next, text 19.
Eka swayam sanjagata sisrikshaya dvitiyayatman adhiyogamayaya srijasya tapasi punargrasishyase yatornanabhir bhagavan swashaktibihi.
Hare Krishna. My dear Lord, you alone create the universes. O personality of Godhead, desiring to create these universes, you create them, maintain them, and again wind them up by your own energies, which are under the control of your second energy called Yogamaya. Just as a spider creates a cobweb by its own energy and again winds it up. Hare Krishna.
We have heard this Urna Nabhi spider, right? How does spider do it? So here, why is Kardamuni making the point Eka Swayam? Because in that internal conversation, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, okay, if you want a wife, then you're supposed to worship who? Uma, right? And Uma or Lord Shiva, one of the demigods. So you should go worship them. Why are you coming worshipping me for a wife? Worship demigods. And then here Kardamuni is actually making the point. But Eka Swayam, I do not see anyone except for you in the universe. This should be our vision. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. Right? Shishtastakam. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. So Kardamuni is saying, I know no one but Krishna. Hence, even though material desire, I'm turning to you, Krishna. Right? And you, Jagataha Shishika, with the desire, it is you who has the desire to create this material world. So it is only by your desire that you create this material world. And then you perform this creation. Why? By Atma Yoga. Atma Maya. Right? Or Atma Maya Yoga. Right? So it is you perform this creation by your glance. Right? And you maintain it. And then Garishe. And you'll wind it up. All this is done by you. Lord is creating. Lord is maintaining. Lord is annihilating. So who else other than the Lord is there? So Kardamani is saying, I know only you, O Krishna, right? And just like a spider, you're creating, maintaining, and then winding it up. So I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. So Prabhupada here, in the last part of purport, he says, here the very prayer suggests that God is sentient and can hear the prayers and fulfills the desires of the devotee. So here, in this verse, two important words nullify the impersonalist theory that everything is God. Right? How is it nullified? Because here we are saying God is there, and through his energies, everything is actually being done. So that separates God and his energies. So God is always there as a person. Right? So it's not that God becomes his energies. No, God is there, energies are there. Right? So God is sentient, and he hears the prayers of devotees, and he responds to those prayers. Okay, text 20.
Prabhuji, in the previous verse, the last sentence cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. How can we understand that, Prabhuji? Everyone will take birth and die, right?
Yeah. What is the best example for this? Very famous example. Prabhupada actually says this. a kitten in the mouth of a cat versus a rat in the mouth of a cat. Right? So the rat in the mouth of a cat is what? Fearful. Death is coming right now. Right? In the form of the sharp teeth of the cat. Immediately, any moment. Death. So much fear, so much anxiety. Kitten, same. Externally, it appears the same. Externally, if you see a cat, kitten is holding, rat is holding. It appears same. Externally, for a devotee, it may look that the same, and for a non-devotee, it may look. But what is a devotee's mood? Just like the kitten in the mouth of a cat. Like, oh, Krishna is there. Why should I worry about that? I'm not even concerned. Krishna will protect me. Any situation, Krishna is there. Externally, to actually protect the confidentiality of bhakti, then even the devotees, it goes through, it appears as if they are going through death, old age, all those things. But actually, for a devotee, they're in the shelter of Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, he's just in that shelter. Right? So, though externally it appears that a devotee and a non-devotee are actually going through old age, death, but it's not the same. So, for a devotee, it's completely. Devotee, what is their feeling? I'm serving Krishna now. And then Krishna wants to serve somewhere else. Okay, change of body, different body. I'll continue my service. Devotee is completely fearless. Whole experience is completely different between a devotee and non-devotee. And hence, for a devotee, they are now hearing Krishna Katha. They change their body, they'll continue hearing Krishna Katha. Is there any change? No. Now you're serving Krishna. After that, you'll serve Krishna. Is there any change? No. What is this? Gross body, right? It's just like your clothes. Okay. Last Sunday, you came and you cooked at a temple. You're wearing a blue dress. This Sunday you came, you cooked at a temple. You're wearing a red dress. Any difference? No, you're doing a service to Krishna. Similarly, this body, another body, you're doing service to Krishna. What is the difference? Right? So that's the point. So for a devotee, it's not like death is just like a change of service. Continue the service. But for a non-devotee, just like a rat in the mouth of a cat. Completely fearful. I don't know what's going to happen. Yamadutas are going to come and punish me for all my sinful activities. And then they will put me in this boiling oil and then do all these nonsense, like all these severe punishment. What will I do? That is the situation of a non-devotee. Right? So they are totally different. Okay, text 20.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Naitad patadhisha padam tavepsitam yanmayayanastanushe bhuta shukshmam anugrahayastvapi arhimayaya lasatturasya bhagavan vilakshitaha.
Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of gross and subtle elements just for our sensual satisfaction. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with a splendid wreath of tulsi leaves. Hare Krishna.
So here, what is he making the point? Kardamuni is further saying, Adisha, O Lord, na etad pada padam tava ipsitam. That actually it is indeed not your desire to manifest this world made of gross and subtle elements. I mean, in the previous verse, didn't he actually make the point? It is actually you, who Lord, who actually creates, maintains, etc. Then why is he saying it's not your desire? Does the Lord want this material world? Does the government want a prison house in the state? No. The government wants that everyone follow the law, so no need of prison house. Similarly, God does not want to create this material world, but yet God is doing it. Why? Anugrahaya. Only to show the mercy upon all those who are, turn away from Krishna. Krishna says, okay, here's a place, go try to enjoy separate from me, realize that you cannot do it, come back to me. So it is only because of the anugrah of the Lord that you actually create this material world. Similarly, right, Astu, Similarly, you show anugraha to me, that though you do not want to fulfill my material desire, you still do it. Why? As a mercy upon me. Right? You see the example? He's saying that you do not want to create material world, still you do it as a mercy. You do not want to fulfill material desire, still you do it. Give me a wife as a mercy. Right? Hence Kardamuni is saying, you please do give me a nice wife. Right? And then further he said, Lasat Tulsa Bhagwan Vilakshita, the splendid form of the Lord adorned with Tulsi leaves is perceived. Right? So, right. So let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared with your eternal form. So basically he's saying that, yeah, show that mercy upon me, like how you have shown right now, by appearing in front of me with Tulsi leaves adoring you. Okay, so Prabhupada in the purport makes this point. He says, elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam is stated, for those who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, the material world is useless, because this material world is full of danger at every step. Which verse is this? Material world is full of danger at every step. Padam, padam, yet viptam. Right? Samashrita ye pada pallavam, mahat padam punya yesho murari, bhavam buddhi vatsa padam padam, padam padam vipadam natesha. Right? So this is 10:14:58. Right? So Prabhupada is quoting that verse. That those who have taken shelter of Krishna, then for them, this material world is just like useless place. And they are just focused on Krishna. So hence, it's not, yeah. Okay. So Krishna is so kind that he allows us enjoying living entities, a separate world created by him to enjoy as they like. Yet at the same time, he appears in his personal form. Right? Krishna creates this material world for those who turn away, but yet out of his mercy, he comes again and again to this material world. Yada yada hi dharmasya, like again and again, he's actually coming. So Prabhupada making a point. This propaganda work goes on side by side with the creation to convince the misguided living entities who are rotting in this material world. Right? So not only the material world is created for those who have turned away from Krishna, Krishna comes again and again personally. He sends his representatives, he sends his devotees, he sends Bhagavad Gita, he sends Srimad Bhagavatam again and again. Right? Just that, okay, you're rotting here, but at the same time, I want you to get out. I want you to get out. I want you to get out. Here is a message. Come out. Here's a message. Come out. Like we go knock on the door. Right? Say, please take Srimad Bhagavatam. Here is an invitation. Come back home, back to God. This is coming directly from Krishna. Krishna is giving an invitation. Come home, come back home, back to God. Okay. Next, we'll do one more verse and then we'll stop.
Text 21. Tam tvanubhutyo parate kriyartam swamaya yavartita lokatantram namamyabhikshnam namaniya pada sarojamalpiyasi kamavarsham.
I continuously offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet, of which it is worthy to take shelter, because you shower all benedictions on the insignificant. To give all living entities detachment from fruitive activity by realizing you have expanded these material worlds by your own energy.
Right. So in the last verse, he's actually offering obeisances to the lotus feet of the Lord. And he says, these lotus feet of the Lord, they are worthy to take shelter. Why? Because they kama varsham. They actually fulfill all one's desires. And then he also says that to give detachment to all by realizing you have expanded these material worlds by your own energy. So he's saying, tam tva artham, right? In order to give all living entities what? Uparata, detachment from kriya, enjoyment of material activities. Swamayaya vartita lokatantram. You have brought about the material worlds by your energy. So why has the Lord created the material world? To actually give detachment to all living entities from their sense gratification. Right? And then I am offering my obeisance unto you, who are worth taking shelter of, because you are alpiya kama varsham. You shower all benedictions onto the insignificant. Right. So what is the significance of the word alpiyasi? Alpiyasi, kama varsham. You shower all benedictions to insignificant. Why insignificant? Why insignificant? But see see Kardamuni's mood. This is the third time we are seeing his mood of humility. He's saying, I am so fallen. I cannot give up my material desire. I am so insignificant. And you actually give mercy on the insignificant. Hence, you give me your mercy and get me a good wife. Get me a good wife. So Prabhupada in the purport, he starts off with saying, everyone therefore, whether a kama, sarva kama, moksha kama udare, Vasubandhu, tivrena bhakti yoga, one should actually engage in tivrena bhakti yoga. Because the Lord is what? Kama varsham alpiyasi. He fulfills the desires of even the insignificant. Further in the purport, Prabhupada actually makes the point. He says, unless one is disgusted with the enjoyment of this material world, one cannot aspire for liberation. Liberation is for one who is disgusted with material enjoyment. Are we disgusted with material enjoyment? Yes or no?
No.
Lately.
Yeah, not exactly. If we are honest, we have to be honest with ourselves. Not disgusted. We still hope, oh, a little bit here, a little bit there. Some enjoyment is there, right? So here the point is, unless we are disgusted, we cannot aspire for liberation. And further Prabhupada makes the point. Therefore, Lord has given us Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, real knowledge, so that we can realize. See, how can we get disgusted from material enjoyment? What is the way of getting disgusted from material enjoyment?
Get a higher taste.
Yeah, only way when we get the higher taste in Krishna consciousness, then we'll feel, what happiness are we talking about? It is only misery, it is only suffering. The only way to get disgusted is by getting a higher taste in Krishna consciousness. Right? So Prabhupada talks about how Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam will give us that higher taste, and by that we can actually get the real knowledge, be liberated, situated in spiritual life. And Prabhupada further says, one who sincerely loves Krishna and yet wants material enjoyment, he is in a perplexed situation. Right? Krishna, being very kind, gives him the opportunity to engage in transcendental loving service and gradually forgets his hallucinations. So we discussed this point earlier from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like Krishna, yes, we are serving Krishna, yet there is some material desire for material enjoyment. So Krishna, actually, he's very kind. He gives us an opportunity to engage in that devotional service, and gradually he takes away that desire to enjoy material enjoyment, and then brings us to a stage of pure devotional service. Okay, so we'll stop here. So this is basically the praise of Kardamuni. So it's very nice to see how Kardamuni's mood, and it's important that we went slowly through his prayers to see his mood, that how he's such an exalted devotee, but yet he's actually expressed his insignificant, his position, the mood of humility. And also I have material desires, hence I'm asking you, I'm not like Kumaras. I want a good wife, and why I'm asking. Everyone is bound by you. Even I'm just following the general populace. I am bound by you. Hence, you fulfill my desire. You create this material world, right? That's not your desire. Still, you do it as mercy. So please, you show your mercy. Give me a wife also. In that way, please pray. Okay. So, quick comments, questions, realizations before we stop.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Prabhuji, I really like the point that you said that devotees, they just change the body. And now they are hearing Krishna Katha. They will change the dress and they will hear Krishna Katha again.
Thank you. Anything else? I hope you all please to some extent appreciate how Kardamuni has offered his prayers to the Lord. And what is the significance of those worshipping the Lord with material desire? Isn't that our position? Right? So how the Lord actually deals with it, and how should be our mood of prayer. If a guru gives an instruction, I want you to do this, and we may need some material things. How should be our prayer? Our prayer should not be, oh, Guru wanted it, Krishna, give me right now. No, how Kardamuni is praying in that mood of humility. Right?
I like that, the mood of honesty also, just like knowing where we're at and praying from that level, and not artificially trying to be somebody that we're not.
Yeah, such a nice point. And just being honest with ourselves. Now back to Godhead, or live a life in Krishna consciousness and then back to Godhead. What is our position? Honestly think about it. So being honest with ourselves actually shows us where we are in our spiritual life.
Prabhuji, I also really like the point of Kardama Muni as he's saying in text 19. This we can at least say honestly. I know Krishna, no one else but Krishna is my only.
That's a good point. Sistastakam, we pray that, right? And no one with Krishna as my Lord, then he shall remain so. And we may not be ready for the next part of it, but at least for the first part, we can say, I know no one with Krishna as my Lord.
Yes.
Yes.
Anartha Nivritti can be done only with the Ardha Pravritti when you got to come to the stage of Ardha.
And that, that also the key point there is based on what anartha in the heart, to that level we should actually hear the appropriate Krishna Katha. Right? Not like all these anarthas and we are going right into Ashtakalya Leela. So we have to really see.
What is Ashtakalya Leela? No.
Okay, so when we are qualified, we'll discuss about Ashtakalya Leela.
Okay.
I really like the point that drinking the nectar of chanting and hearing the katha, we can forget this material existence, intoxication of this material existence. Sometimes we feel that we have a lot of problems, then we don't realize that, oh, this is the time to hear Krishna katha. That will solve it.
What are the two words we heard for Krishna Katha? Piyusha and Sidhu. What's the meaning?
Piyusha, drinking.
Drinking. Sidhu.
Look up your text. What are the two words? Piyusha and Sidhu. What's the meaning?
Oh.
Sidhu is intoxication.
Yeah. Piyusha is sweet nectar. So you talked of intoxication of material world. How can the intoxication of material world be given? By getting intoxicated with Krishna Katha. Piyusha and Sidhu. Okay? Sweet and intoxicating Krishna Katha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, what's the meaning of Artha Pravritti?
Artha Pravritti is to develop our goal is what? Anartha Nivritti?
Right.
Is that our goal?
Right. Anartha Nivritti is our goal, but we get Anartha Nivritti by doing Artha Pravritti. What I understood is by doing Krishna Katha and engaging in bhakti, slowly we get purified. And anarthas will be gone.
Yeah,
So,
but is Anartha Nivritti our goal? It is just like this. You have a disease, right?
right.
Now the goal, is it just to get free from the disease? Like, okay, stomach pain, right? Stomach pain, cannot eat anything, right? Now the goal is not just to remove the stomach pain. Is that your only goal? A goal is
treat the underlying
remove the
cause.
stomach pain and then eat healthy food, eat nice Krishna prasadam so that I can relish it, right? So it is not coming just from negative to zero. Our goal is finally here, relishing Krishna Katha is our goal. So Anartha Nivritti is not our final goal. Our goal is Artha Pravritti. That means to hear, relish Krishna Katha, absorb our mind, the Ashtakalya Leela. That is finally our goal. That's our goal.
Right.
You shouldn't stop
That's
at
the
just
final
like...
goal. But baby steps, right? You cannot suddenly jump to the final goal.
But you should know what is our final goal. If our focus is just, my goal is removing anarthas, then how will you try to remove anarthas? Okay, I have lust in my heart. I have greed in my heart. Oh, Krishna, please take away lust, take away the greed. Okay, it's good we are approaching Krishna to take it away. But that's not finally our prayer. Our prayer is Krishna, give me a taste to hear Harikatha, by which all everything else will go away. That is our real prayer, right? So many times, even in a sadhana life, we have all these, maybe some pullings here and there, and we try to get rid of those pullings just by our own strength. We say, okay, tomorrow, okay, I won't do this again. I won't do this again. I won't do this again. Who's the focus here? We are trying to take out anarthas and saying, I'm not going to do this. I mean, the effort is there from our part, but the effort comes with the mercy of Krishna. So our effort is, Krishna, please give me the strength to overcome this. Krishna, bring the center on Krishna, right? So finally, like the point of Artha Pravritti is that finally what we want, Krishna, I just want to absorb my mind in hearing Harikatha, Harikirtan. That's it. That is my goal. My final goal is not just to get free from all these anarthas. That will bring me to a maybe Brahman realized platform. My goal is finally to absorb in Harikatha and Harikirtan. Right? So that Artha Pravritti in the paragraph what we read is that Bhakti Saraswati Thakur is actually talking about and making the point that finally we have to come to a state where we are absorbed in Ashtakali Leela. That's what he's saying. That's the Artha Pravritti that he's talking about. So again, that Artha Pravritti also based on our level. It could be like releasing 10th canto of Bhagavatam, reading about Krishna, Bala Leela, and so on. That's also positive.
But in chanting, they say that if you don't make anarthas, then only can relish. That's what we heard, right, Prabhuji? We can relish the chanting or anything if you don't, if you make less anarthas or make sure you don't make any anarthas.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of
So
anarthas,
yes, so we have to get rid of anarthas. No doubt about that. We are not denying that. But is our final goal of chanting just to get rid of anarthas? I'm chanting Hare Krishna so that lust in my heart is taken away. Is that your final goal? The final goal of chanting Hare Krishna is Krishna Prema. Right? Not just to give up the negative. Our goal is positive Krishna Prema. That's the whole point of that discussion. That doesn't mean taking out anarthas is not, it is a step. Certainly, we have to get rid of anarthas. Otherwise, we cannot relish. But we didn't say that that is our goal. Our goal is Krishna Prema. And for getting Krishna Prema, we need to get rid of anarthas. And hence, Krishna, please take away the anarthas so I can get the positive. Okay. Any other points? I'll just take a quick break.
I was thinking, Prabhu, how Kardama Mundi's mood is almost like Brahmaji's. At the time when Brahmaji is about to start, he gives his prayers to the Lord. That, you are the one who's doing it. You are the one. You make my life in such a way that I don't get covered by you, right? The same thing is also Kardama Muni saying that, I was like trying to figure out the prayers as a dialogue, so like exactly how each and every verse is connected. So like first he said that I have perfected my eyes, you have appeared. Then he said, see, I'm a fool. That is why I have material desires. And with these material desires, I'm asking you because you will give me in such a way that I don't get entangled. Then I'm not really keen into getting married, but just because it is the desire of Brahmaji, I'm doing it. But I have a prayer that please make sure my life in such a way that I do not get entangled and I keep on hearing Krishna Katha, hear and drink the nectar. Because if I don't do so, this spoke of life, which is circling around, will just annihilate, the whole thing. And then finally he says that I want to be assured of myself that it's not that this material world has been created for your pleasure. You don't want to do it, but it is me, because of me personally, because of people like me with material desires, you have created this world so that eventually we get, done with, this material world and we can get a attachment to your lotus feet. So, like, for proper prayer, just
Nice.
because he's going to get married, he knows this world, his Mara is very dangerous. So, what a wonderful, prayerful attitude.
Very nice, very nice. Very nicely you consider the points. And the last point I would like to add to it, text 21, what is he saying? Why does the Lord create the material world? To give detachment to everyone. So he's saying, yes, I'm entering Grahast ashram, but finally I want to get that mood of detachment. And we'll see how after he gets 9 daughters, 1 son, then he'll say, okay, Krishna is right there, appear as son. He'll say, bye-bye, I'm going. Imagine Krishna appears as a son and you're saying like, okay, I'm taking sannyas now. My job is done. And he actually prays for that detachment. So very nice. Okay, so we'll take a break, come back, and then we'll discuss what Krishna actually replies and Vishnu actually speaks to Kardamuni. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So let's continue. Now we'll see what Krishna replies to Kardama Muni. Text 22.
Rishir Uchu Uvacha Ityavyalikkam Pranutam Janabhas Tam Ababhashe Vachasamritena Suparna Paksho Pariroshamanaha Prema Smitodvikshana Vibramadruhu.
Maitreya resumed, sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection.
So now this is just a connecting verse to the next section where Maitreya Rishi is saying, Iti does sincerely praise Avyalikam Pranutuhu. So how is the Lord accepting this? He's saying, oh, Maitreya Rishi is saying, oh, so nicely he's prayed to Krishna, right? And Abja Nabha Abhabhase. Then Lord Vishnu, Abja Nabha, right? One way you can say Abja Nabha means one whose Nabha, from his Nabha, the lotus arises. That Vishnu, he replied, Vachasa Amritena. His words are as sweet as nectar. Suparna Paksha Upari Rochamana. And where was the Lord? We read this before. He was sitting on Garuda, right? He had his feet on the shoulders of Garuda and he was shining very beautifully. That Lord, he looked at the sage, and how did he look? Prema Smita, with a smile full of affection. Udivakshana Vibramad Brua, with eyebrows gracefully moving. Right? So how did the Lord look? A smile full of affection. You can imagine like a mother or something. You can see spiritual master smiles with so much affection, and then the eyebrows, gracefully moving. The Lord actually he replied, right? Abhabhase, he's going to say. Right? Now, Prabhupada in the purport, he gives some very nice point. Says Vachasa Amritena. Amritena means nectar. When the Lord speaks, he speaks from the transcendental world. So Prabhupada in his purport, he compares the material sound and the spiritual sound. John, 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 John. Prabhupada said, how long will you chant John, John? After some time, it will be like hackneyed, boring. But you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You can do it 24 hours a day. And what will the experience? So Prabhupada here, he compares material and spiritual sound. He says spiritual sound is nectarian, it is eternal. Material word is hackneyed and subject to end. It's boring. After some time, you'll be like, oh, something else. I heard this so long, now I have to hear something else. Right? Now, Prabhupada says the sound of the holy name everlastingly increases the enthusiasm of the chanter. Do you have this experience? Yes or no? After chanting, it's like 15 rounds. I thought it was already 16, right? The clock says it was 16, but I think 16. So what is normally our mood should be when we are chanting Hare Krishna, everlastingly increasing. It's like, okay, chant Hare Krishna. Wow, that's an opportunity to chant. And then Prabhupada says, if someone chants 24 hours a day, he will feel encouraged to continue chanting more and more. That is our test for good japa. After chanting 16 rounds, he'll be like, oh, 16 rounds, okay. I should do one more set of 16 rounds. That should be our mood. That shows that we are really chanting the holy name. Otherwise, we are doing Nama Bhas or Nam Aparad, mostly Nam Aparad. That's what we are doing, right? Okay. When a devotee praises the glories of the Lord is very satisfied and he bestows his transcendental benediction upon the devotee without reservation because he is always causelessly merciful towards the devotee. So beautiful. Last sentence. Prabhupada says, when the devotee praises the Lord, when we glorify the Lord is very pleased with us. Oh, my bhakta is glorifying me so nicely. And he said, okay, without any reservation, the Lord showers his benedictions upon the devotees. Right? When Krishna gives us, he gives unlimitedly. Right? Unlimited, no restriction. Right? Text 23.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditva Tava Chaitya Me Puraiva Samayojitat Yad Artam Atmaniyamais Vayaivaham Samarchitaha.
Okay, so before we go, I had written a few more points in my notes, so I just want to read. Because Prabhupada stresses so much on these two words, right? Enthusiasm and encourage, right? When we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should feel more and more enthusiastic to chant more, right? And he says he will feel encouraged to continue chanting more and more. Enthusiasm and encouragement, right? So these two things are there. So this should be our experience after every japa session. More enthusiasm, more encouragement. If we are not experiencing this, then certainly we are doing some aparad, right? Nam aparad. Now, how can we get rid of nam aparad? So 3 points I actually wrote, this is from me, where first point, we should actually think about, okay, 10 offenses to the holy name. Offense number 1, right? To commit offenses, to blaspheme the devotees, have dedicated a life of propagating the holy name of the Lord, etc., etc. Now we think about it. Which of these offenses am I committing? Right? Is it offense number 7? That I'm actually chanting Hare Krishna and then using the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a way to get rid of my sinful reactions? Which offense am I committing? So first one, be aware of the offenses and then see which offense we are committing. Second one is developing the mood of humility. Right? Always this Trinadapi Sunichena verse is connected with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We can chant only when we have the mood of Trinadapi Sunichena. So second is to develop, cultivate that mood of humility. The third point is to actually cry to Krishna that why I'm not getting the taste. Particularly, we can chant bhajans like Kabe habe bolo se din amar. Aparada guchi shuddhaname ruchi kripa bale habe hridaya sancha. You see the entire bhajan, the focus is just on this, on the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's a beautiful bhajan. Kabe habe bolo. And the first line translation is, when oh when will that day be mine? In the 70s and 80s, they used to sing this also as a song. My offenses ceasing, taste for the name increasing. When, oh, when will that mercy shine? Oh, when will that day be mine? So that's like a song they used to sing this. And that's the translation of the first verse. My offenses ceasing, taste for the name increasing. When will that mercy shine? Oh, when will that day be mine? Right? So developing that mood of longing, chanting, praying with such bhajans like Kabe Habe Bolo, say Din Amar. Okay, next verse. 23, we read the Sanskrit. Let's read the English. Right? Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Translation. Who's next? Go ahead. Jeev Jago Jeev.
Arundhati Mataji, have you read? Is it my turn now?
No, I did not read Mataji. Is it my turn? No. The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me, well through your mental and sensory discipline.
So what did the Lord say? Say, oh fool, Kardama, you could ask for liberation. Why are you asking for a wife? No, the Lord does not say that. What does the Lord say? Viditva tava chaityam. I already understand what is your mental condition. You see how this is the mood of the Lord. When we approach the Lord with that mood of honesty, the Lord, this is my condition. Krishna says, yes, I know your heart. right? So he's saying, I understand your condition. Me pura eva samyogi. I have already arranged for you whatever your desire was there. I have actually arranged for you. Yet artham atma niyame. You worship me with your mind, with your senses, through proper discipline, right? And you worship only me. You didn't turn to demigods. Hence, I have already arranged a good wife for you. I already know what is a desire. I have already arranged a good wife for you. So Prabhupada in the purport says, how the Lord, He knows our past, present, future. He knows all our desires, activities. He knows everything about us. Actually, even we do not know what is our desires in our heart. Is that true? I mean, like, there may be some subtle desires we may not even know. But the Lord knows all our desires. He knows all our activities. He knows everything about us. Right? So what is the best thing to do? Approach the Lord. Krishna, you know past, present, future. You know my desire. You please deal with the desire. So something which is against bhakti be taken away, and those desires which can be dovetailed to bhakti, you please fan them and increase them so that I can increase my service to you. Approach the Lord with such prayers. Krishna, you know the best thing for me. So Prabhupada says, Lord knew Karna Muni's heart's desire and he already arranged a wife for Karna Muni. And then before we had this, when in the brahmacharis, like those who are like looking to get married, it's like, this is a perfect section for you. Pray to the Lord, Krishna, get me a wife who will actually help me in my Krishna conscious journey. If your desire is for a brahmachari to enter Grihastha ashram, he can actually approach this section of Bhagavatam, and in a proper mood, not with the mood of, oh, give me a wife so that I can enjoy my life. No, give me a wife so that I can serve you nicely in Krishna consciousness. Right? And then Prabhupada says further, last sentence, the Lord never disappoints a sincere devotee regardless of what he wants. Right? Regardless of what we want, the Lord never disappoints. But he never allows anything which will be detrimental to the devotee's devotion service. Right? If someone desires, oh Lord, please let me enjoy something which is, breaking the regulations. Lord will say, why will I give him that? That is going to be detrimental to his bhakti. I'm not going to give him that. But certain desires, the Lord may say, okay, you want a good house? Okay, I know. With a good house, you will practice bhakti properly. Okay, I'll give you a good house. So, okay.
Prabhu, did you ask before you get married?
Next, let's do 24. Okay, 24.
Not only men, both men and women should pray like this, right, Prabhuji? I mean, India, most of the women is like, I just want to get married. I don't want to be burdened to my dad. It's not like that, right? Yeah, both men and women.
Our intention is actually really important. My intention is basically that, okay, why do you want to get married? So that we can actually have a nice partner who will help me grow in my spiritual life.
Right.
That is the right mood. So if that is the prayer, then we can approach Krishna and ask. Right? Not that, Krishna, give me a wife who's so beautiful that all my neighbors will be envious. Our mood should be like in that mood of Krishna consciousness, that I want to increase my service to you. And I know brahmachari life, it's not I have desires, I admit it. I cannot take a full brahmachari life. Hence, I'm approaching you, Krishna. Please give me a cow who is, a wife who is cow of plenty. Right? Cow of plenty. What's the qualities of a cow? 24.
Navajatu mrishaiva syad rajadyaksha madarhanam bhavad vidheshu atitaram mai sangriptadatmanam.
The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything onto me, there is never any question of frustration. Hare Krishna.
So here further he's making a very nice point. He says, Praja Dhyakshaha, O leader of all living entities. It's so interesting. Didn't Kardamuni just say this to the Lord? Oh Lord, you are actually the leader of all living entities. Which was that verse? Where he talked of Nityo Nityanam Chetans Chetanana. I just saw this point and I just want to go back and see. Can someone see which was that verse? Where we discussed the proper talks of Nityo Nityanam Chetans Chetanana. Everyone knows what I'm talking about? Yes.
I think it's the 19th verse, bro. You alone create the universes.
But this one, sorry, 16, Mataji. 16. So if you see in 16 translation, what does Kardamuni tell the Lord? See 16.
Yeah, you are the master and the leader of all living entities.
And here, what does Lord tell Kardamuni?
You are the leader.
You are the leader of all living entities. As Prajapati, right? Interesting. I just noticed that point. So, okay. So 24. Right. So it says, O leader of all living entities, O Prajapatihi. And he's making a very nice point. He says, Na vai jatu mrisheya syat. Very, let's see, 24. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Na vai jatu mrisheva. There will never be any question of frustration if anyone approaches me. If we approach our Lord and pray, even for material desire, there is never a question of frustration. Why? Bhavat videshu. Anyway, further he actually makes a point. Bhavat videshu atadiram mai sangrabhita atmanam. Particularly for persons like you whose minds are always fixed on me. Particularly for those who are like you, O Kardama, whose mind is fixed on me, there will never be any question of frustration. Worship of me will never lead to frustration. And further, actually the point is made that the Lord, anyone who approaches the Lord, even for material desire, finally, what does the Lord give him? We read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. What does the Lord forcefully give him? Shelter of his lotus feet. And when the Lord gives him shelter of lotus feet, then he forgets all material desires and says, okay, Krishna only knew. So anytime worship of Krishna can never be in frustration, right? Okay, next verse, 25.
Prajapati sutam samran manur vikyata mangalaha brahmavartam yodivasan shashti saptar navam mahim.
Hare Krishna. Translation. The Emperor Swayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over earth with its 7 oceans. Hare Krishna.
So one point the previous purport Prabhupada also makes is he again quotes that verse from the 7th canto, Chaturvida Bhajantiram, Jana Sukrita Arjuna, Artho Jikyasu Arthati, Jnani Cha Bharatashva. So 4 kinds of people who turn to Krishna, right? What are the 4 kinds?
Arthi, Artharthi, Jnani, Jignasu.
And Jigyasu, right? But then Prabhupada makes a point that each one of them, though they are approaching Krishna, not out of pure devotional service, still Krishna calls them what? Udara Sarva Evate. Undoubtedly, they are magnanimous souls. To make the point that anyone who turns to Krishna will never be frustrated. Krishna will actually fulfill his desire in such a way that he will give the shelter of his lotus feet. So in 25, he says, Prajapati Sutaha, right? Sutaha means son. O son of Prajapati. Who is here Prajapati? Lord Brahma, right? Who is the son of Lord Brahma? Samrat, he's the Samrat. Who is he talking about? Swayambhuva Manu, right? Who is the Samrat, the king? So, Manuhu Vikhyataha, that emperor Swayambhuva Manu, who is actually Mangalaha, who is actually well known for his righteous acts, and he is living where? Adhivasan, Brahmavarta. Right? He's living in Brahmavarta. Sashti Sapta Arnava Mahim. And he is ruling over the Shashti. Shashti means Sapta, sorry. Sapta means 7. He is ruling over this earth, which has these 7 oceans. So this personality, the son of Brahma, I mean, it's interesting, like, isn't Kardamuni also son of Brahma? Right? And here he's saying, son of Brahma, Swayambhuva Manu. So what is one-way relationship, Kardamuni and Swayambhuva Manu? Actually, but we cannot consider all that in the aspect of creation, right? So he's saying Prajapati Sutaha, or son of Lord Brahma, the Samrat Manuhu Vikhyata, who is actually known, Vikhyata, famous as Swayambhuva Manu, who is known for his Mangala, righteous acts, who lives in Brahmavarta. So Prabhupada actually makes this point. Brahmavarta is either a path of Kurukshetra or it is a place in Brahmaloka. Both explanations are given for Brahmavarta, right? But then Prabhupada says, it appears that Swayambhuva Manu was ruling this planet Earth during that first Manvantara. Imagine, there's actually 14 planetary systems, right? Brahma created. But of all, each planetary system has so many planets. Of all those planets, Swayambhuva Manu is actually in the planet Earth. He's staying at Brahmavarta, and from that he is ruling Earth, and then probably ruling all the other planets also. So, rule this planet Earth, right? So, Swayambhuva Manu rule this planet Earth. And then further, he actually Prabhupada talks of Mangala. Mangala means auspicious. Auspicious in what? So, elevated in every respect, opulences of, Prabhupada mentions opulences of religious performance, power, cleanliness, all good qualities, right? So, one who is elevated in opulences of religious performance, doing a lot of religious performance, ruling power, cleanliness, all other good qualities, that is a Mangala. And hence Swayambhuva Manu is a Mangala, very auspicious. Okay, 26.
Sacheha Viprajarshi Mahishya Shatarupaya Ayasyati Didrikshuštvam Varashvo Dharma Kovidaha.
Kovidaha, we have heard of Kovida before. Okay, what is it? Dharma Kovidaha, who is expert in Dharma. Translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation: the day after tomorrow, O Brahmana, that celebrated emperor who is expert in religious activities will come here. It is Queen Shatarupa wishing to see you. Hare Krishna.
I mean, so specific. The Lord is saying, this person will be a father-in-law. He will come with his daughter day after tomorrow, right? Para Swaha. Day after tomorrow, he's going to come. And what will he come and do? Ayasasi Didriksha. He'll come desiring to see you. And how will he come? With Mahisha Shatarupaya, along with his queen, with that king, Raja Rishi, who is Dharma Kovida, expert in religious activities, will come and see you. Okay. And 27.
Atmajam Asita Pangim Vayoshila Gunavitam Mrigayantim Patim Dashyati Anurupayate Prabho.
Hare Krishna. She has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She's ready for marriage, and she has good character and all good qualities. She's also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver their daughter as your wife.
Prabhu. So Lord is saying Prabhu. He's saying Prabhu to Kardamani. Saying, my dear sir, Atma Jam, his own daughter. Whose daughter? Swayambhuva Manu's daughter. And 4 qualities of the daughter is given. Asita Apangim, with black eyes. Now, I'm not sure why that black eyes is so important in this connection. Like, imagine it says like, you'll get the best of all wives and she'll have black eyes. I don't understand the connection. Anyway, Asita Apangim, with black eyes. Vayaha, right? She is grown up. She's grown up. She's the right age to get married. Sheila Guna Anvitam. She's endowed with all good qualities and character. The most important, right? And not only that, Mriga Intim Patim. She's actually looking for a husband. So perfect. She's looking for a husband. She's grown up, right age, and then she's endowed with all good qualities and character. Plus, she has black eyes. Okay? So, and then he says, Dasyati Anurupatayate. Swayambhava Manu will give his daughter to you who are Anurupataya. It means you are the perfect, you will be the perfect husband for her, suitable husband for her. Right? Prabhupada in the purport, he talks about selection of a good husband for a good girl was always entrusted to the parents. Right? And Prabhupada makes the point. He says, girls are never thrown into the public street to search out their husband. That is so heavy. And girls are never thrown on public street to search out their husband. For when girls are grown up and searching for a husband, they forget to consider whether the boy is actually suitable, and they just focus on physical beauty, physical attraction, right? So that's the main point. Prabhupada says that, at that age, I mean, isn't it natural at that age, the immediate attraction will be more on the physical? But that's why the parents needs to actually take care to actually see that not only is physical compatibility, but beyond that, compatibility of the character, how is the character of the husband, suitable character, what is his spiritual values, etc. Right? I mean, these days they also see how much is he earning, which IT company he is in, all those, etc., etc. Right? But main purpose stresses on the importance of the parents actually looking for a good husband for the girl. 28.
Samahitam te hridayam yatreman parivastaran satvam brahman nripavadhu kamanashu bhajishyati. That princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content.
So, Brahman. So, every verse we see, like previously you said, oh Prabhu, here it is saying, oh Brahmana, Nripa Vaduhu, that princess, Samahitam te hridayam yatreman pari vatsavan, right? Hridayam, in your heart, what you desire, exactly that girl I'm giving to you. Imagine the Lord, right? He's saying the Lord says will be just the type that you have been thinking about in your heart for all these long years. See, Kardamuni was performing 10,000 year austerity, right? He is doing it to please the Lord. But the Lord, while Kardamuni was doing austerity, was in his heart and actually was seeing, oh, he has this desire, this kind of girl he wants. Okay, perfect. I'll make her ring. God is so kind, right? All right. So this goes to a point that how we also don't know what is our true desire. We may desire, okay, I want a so-and-so, a wife for Swayam and Krishna. But we may not know like what kind of wife she is. But Krishna knows best. So Krishna is telling, what you desire, that kind of wife I'm giving you. And then Kamam Atsu Bhajisyati. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. The wife will serve the husband to heart's content. Prabhupada makes the point in purport, Lord awards all benedictions according to the heart's desire of the devotee. So Prabhupada here very interestingly says, if we pray to the Lord, every transaction of our material existence, everything will be done nicely and just suitable to the heart's desire. I mean, isn't this contrary to Anyabhilasita Sunyam? See, Anyabhilasita Sunyam means like, don't focus on any material desire. Focus on Krishna. But here Prabhupada is making a point, okay, you have material desires, but if you are approaching Krishna with those material desires, they will be fulfilled in the best possible way. Hence approach Krishna. Right? Everything will be done nicely and just suitable to the heart's desire. Therefore, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on His decision. We may say, Krishna, I want to fulfill so-and-so desire. And Krishna will say, okay, here, I'm giving you this. And then he'll say, not this, Krishna. I wanted blue color car. Why do you give red color car? It's not my desire. No. Trust Krishna's decision. And the blue, red is just, and you had the example. But the point is, Prabhupada is saying that just trust the decision of Krishna. Depend upon his decision. Okay, this is what Krishna decided. This is perfect for me. Right? Depend on the choice of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So point is like Prabhupada is saying, okay, again, going back to the point of honesty, we are approaching across the Lord with our honest heart and saying, okay, these are material desires. But instead of like separately holding on to desire, I'm saying, Krishna, these are my desires. And Krishna says, okay, that's your desire. I'll fulfill it in such a way that it will bring you closer to me. Okay. Further, Prabhupada says, only by God's grace one can get a nice wife just as he desires. So also like, you know, a good wife, it's only by Krishna's mercy. So always have that mood of gratitude. And also Prabhupada mentions that Kardamuni is a Brahmana, Devahuti is a Kshatriya. So actually, so Prabhupada makes a point, a Brahmana is getting married to a Kshatriya. So intercaste marriage. So Prabhupada says even in that time, there used to be intercaste marriage. But also in that the consideration is that the boy should be from a higher varna than the girl. So if it's a Brahmana getting married to a Kshatriya, it's okay. But if a Kshatriya boy gets married to a Brahmana girl, then that is normally not acceptable. Right? Okay, 29.
Yata atma vritam viryam navadha parsabhishyati virye tvadiye rishaya adhasyantyanjasatmanaha.
Hare Krishna. She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget, the sages will duly beget children.
Right. So he's already saying that you'll get 9 daughters in your wife, and then those 9 daughters will get married to sages, and the sages will actually get children. There's another point I wrote in my notes. I just want to go through this. Again, this is my notes, my thinking. So being honest to our desires in heart and turning to Krishna, right? We already talked about this. Don't be duplicitous. Like coming to Krishna and saying, oh, I am so pure. No, be honest, right? Now, if I see our desires, I actually classified them into 3, particularly for us as sadhakas. One is material desires that we have, and we have those desires, like a subtle desire that, okay, these desires are there and we want Krishna to fulfill them. Like an example, like a good house, stable household. We have the desire and we want Krishna to keep that, so that our Krishna consciousness is not disturbed. First kind, right? Material desires, and we want Krishna to hold on to them. Second is material desires that we have, and we don't want Krishna to fulfill them. We want Krishna to just remove them. Like, we may have like some lusty desires. And like Krishna, like, please don't fulfill these desires. Just purify them, take them away. So the first one is desires that we have, and we have that subtle thing that Krishna, please fulfill. So we are just honest. Krishna, this is a desire. I know it's not the best thing, but I'm just being honest. Second is material desires that we have, and we know that we don't want Krishna to fulfill this because it's harmful to our spiritual life. Example, lust. And we say, Krishna, this desire is that you please take it away from my heart. Third is the desires, right? Like, sorry. First one, I gave the wrong example. So first is material desires we have, and we want it to be fulfilled. Example, right. Example, maybe like, some opulence, right? Some kind of opulence. Or I want a good car, etc., etc. Second is material desires, and we don't want it to be fulfilled. We say, Krishna, please take it away. Third is material desires, like some desires that we may say that, okay, please keep this so that I can practice bhakti properly. That may be good house or so and so. In that case, we say, we actually transfer that to Krishna. That Krishna, you are the maintainer of my house. Manasa Deyogeo Jo Kichumur Arpila Tuapade Nanda Kishore. Yes, I want a good household, but that household is Krishna, you are actually the proprietor of the household. So anyway, so 3 different kinds. We can kind of classify desires and then maybe it's helpful to you. Like, at least for me, I was thinking about this point. The certain desires, Krishna, take it away. Certain desires are there, but it's not so important, like a good car or more electronic or some things like that. Be just honest. Krishna, it is there. I don't care so much. And then last is, certain desire may be there, like proper house, etc. That we transfer it that Krishna, you're a maintainer. Our faith is only in Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is nice. What is the difference between 1 and 2? I didn't understand. Material desires which need to be removed, lusty desires.
Yes.
That is second one. What is the first one you said?
First one is like, we have material desire and we
Yes.
still have a desire that it be fulfilled. See,
Like
one is material desire that we have and we want it to be fulfilled. Some is material desires that we have and we know that for sure Krishna don't fulfill those.
Yeah.
Right? What is the example for first one?
First one, that also I need example.
Yeah. So example like maybe, and for men, our attraction is more into like electronics and cars, and we may get the desire that, oh, maybe this new model is coming. I want this. Is that in our heart? I want this new.
Sounds like lusty desire, right? That's where I got mixed up. Between the first and second, I don't see big difference.
So first one is like, okay, you desire that, okay, new so-and-so laptop is coming up. And
Right.
you have that desire that I
Right.
want to buy this laptop.
But you don't need it.
I mean, the point is you could use that in Krishna's service.
But for that, you don't need a new designed laptop. You need updated model. You
can
need
say that-
some laptop, functional laptop, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I mean, that is idealistic condition, but we're talking about material desire. See, material desires would be things that, which are, see, if you need something for Krishna's service, you just take it. Okay, I need this for Krishna's, I use it. Utility.
Yeah, the third
You
part
may
is
have something beyond that, oh, I need this, so that underneath we are thinking, okay, I'll fulfill. Krishna, I'll use this in your service. It's not that Krishna, I need this for your service, but Krishna, I want this so that I will use it in your service. It's like a subtle difference, But second is totally like lusty desire.
Right.
That for sure, you just say, Krishna, take it away. Don't fulfill that. First we must still hold on to and say, Krishna, I'll try to use that in your service. And buy a much better car. Do I need like a very opulent car? Maybe not. But Krishna, I will use that to come to a temple because the desire is there. I want some opulence. I'll come to a temple. I'll serve devotees with that. I'll take my Guru Maharaj, things like that.
I think the main difference between the first and second is first one is not impediment to bhakti, and the second one would be an impediment to bhakti.
Okay. Got it, Madison. Yes. Thank you.
What is the third one, Prabhuji?
No, basically.
Like, your desire to have a steady household. Is that
Study.
a material desire? It is, but, frankly, we need to have a steady household to practice bhakti.
Okay.
So that third desire, we'll say, Krishna, you are the maintainer. You please protect my household. This is actually your household. You protect your household so I can practice bhakti steadily.
Or could it also be like praying for your good health so that I can have good
health. Yeah, go ahead. That's a good example.
Yeah, so I can serve properly.
Praying for a good health so I can serve. Right? We are not like Queen Kunti. Vipada Santuta Sattva Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. We are not like that. Right? We are saying, okay, good health. I need good health so that I can serve you properly. That's also a desire. Okay. Okay, so where are we? 29, right? Okay. And it's time now. But can you just read translations 30, 31, 32? And then that's it. That finishes Lord speaking, and then 33 onwards, we see further story. But one person just read translations of 30, 31, 32.
Hare Krishna. With your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me. Hare Krishna.
Good. 31.
Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization, giving assurance of safety to all. You will perceive your own self as well as all the universes in me and myself in you.
Okay, this we'll have to explain with us a long purport also. And then 32.
The great says, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahuti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories.
So we'll discuss the last 3 again in more detail, but just to get, so this is what Krishna speaks. And then 33 onwards, the first story further continues, how Kardama Muni will talk to Swayambhuva Manu. Right? Okay. Okay, 52. So we'll stop here. Thank you all so much. That was, it's a very interesting section. There's actually, if you really want to hear, there's a series by Devamrit Swami Maharaj. Devamrit Swami Maharaj, he calls nectar attachment. Attachment, that's a nectar, right? Nectar attachment. So there's a nice series. He talks about this entire Leela, So it's, I'd heard it many, many years back, but somehow I remember and I really appreciated it at that time. Nectar attachment. Okay. Any final comments before we stop?
Prabhuji, I have a few questions. Maybe, don't know the time. I can ask later. Now it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, we were reading in the few verses that Prabhupada is writing in the purport, the ideal situation. For example, the parents looking for the match for their girls. And also we were talking about Kshatriyas marrying a Brahmana, the intercaste marriage and all that. Prabhuji, what is the relevance of this today?
I mean, the first point also, it is still true that, that the parents should actually be involved in the decision making for the husband of a girl, I mean, now the society is such that, it's like, oh yeah, I'll make my own choice and that is accepted as a norm. But it is, the point that Prabhupada is making is still valid that, at that time, the vision of the girl may be more based on, physical compatibility, not so much based on the factors which a parent can actually see. So it is good that, at least even in this age, that, okay, yeah, it may not come as, okay, you have to marry this, but, that should be the role of a parent to actually, decide the husband for a girl.
Yes, Prabhu, that's an ideal situation. But also we know that the varnas are not exactly based on birth, right? It is based on the nature of a person. So it necessarily doesn't mean that the daughter of a Brahmana will be a Brahmana.
Yes, that is true. But the nature is also, we have to match, right? That's also Prabhupada talked about compatibility in nature, and there he referred to astrology. And he still said that even now astrology is important, especially for marriage. Like if someone, looking, I always say, first thing, match the astrologer. Find a good astrologer, match the charts. Otherwise, if there's compatibility of nature is not there, initially it will be like, oh yeah, yeah, and then all fight, and we see, certain households too many issues, and that's because the natures are not compatible. So basically, the point is to use this higher science in deciding the husband and wife, because how much knowledge or experience we have, our experience is so limited. And we may think, oh, so and so girl, so and so boy, so and so. But astrology is speaking something much more beyond our experience and using that science to actually make, because marriage is such a serious business. Once you get married, it's lifetime, hopefully.
How it relates to our Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji? Because if you think about
Even astrology, like, it is important. Like if husband and wife cannot stay together and have like fights at home, that is certainly going to adversely affect your Krishna consciousness. Right? If your household is not steady, if there are everyday fights at home, then it's going to affect your Krishna consciousness also.
So we have to look both Krishna consciousness and also astrology and also caste.
I mean, astrology will actually give good hint about because caste as such in, we don't carry, now they may say she is in a Brahmana family, but that just means that she's born in a Brahmana family. There's nothing to do with the character. So that external caste is actually not so much of a consideration at all, especially in Kali Yuga. So what we see is astrology, and then we see like So astrology will say like how compatible they are. Then we see like, okay, spiritually how inclined both of them are. Whether both of them are really interested, or one of them is 16 rounds and one of them is like Bhagavad Gita, bye-bye. And that is, then you have to see. So you see astrology and you see the spiritual, inclination of both people. I mean, we have cases of like, okay, boy is initiated, the girl is not chanting, but she gets married, but the inclination was there, and then she also got initiated. So, so you have to, but the spiritual inclination has to be there, really. Otherwise, it's very difficult. I mean, there's families all around that we have seen. We see all these contrasting examples, right? The husband is interested, wife not interested, wife interested, husband not interested, or both of them are nice, interested, both of them are serving together. We see all these examples around us. So that's why the marriage is so important. Like, get the astrological chart done, and then see the spiritual culture inclinations also. Okay, enough of marriage advice.
For parents.
Prabhu, I was thinking that how in the second canto we read the Sakama Sarvakama verse, but after that throughout, now in the third canto we see how the Lord is acting like a matchmaker. And again we will see in fourth canto how he is Dhruva Maharaj, his proof. So we see great devotees who has been approaching the Lord with the different desires. So like as we know that how second canto or the second chapter has given us many instructions where it is like bhakti, doing devotional service, being always anabhilashita shunyam is the life and soul, and then the whole Bhagavatam is full with coming up to the gopis who are also doing Kartaini Vrata in the desire of Krishna. Like that is completely you see what I'm trying to say, bro?
So one way, like if you see like 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 3 chapters is giving the lowest to the highest, right? He's talking of the highest stage there, pure devotional service, right? And then further after that, he says, okay, over, Bhagavatam over. But Parishit Maharaj says, I have 6 more days, continue. And then he elaborates. So that's why like, Bhagavatam is so beautiful. It is filled with devotees who make mistakes. It is filled with devotees who have material desires. I mean, if it was all focused on like devotees who are all pure devotees, I mean, they come to a stage of pure devotional service. It is actually Bhagavatam is showing us the journeys of people who make mistake and then how they actually, go through the mistake and come to the pure devotional service. That's why it is so beautiful for each one of us, because it's a journey of all the devotees to pure devotional service. And finally bring us to the stage of the gopis. So I mean, Bhagavatam, like who all mistakes do we read? Brahmaji made a mistake. We are reading about that. I mean, we would say Brahmaji mistake he made. Okay, why should I publish that in Bhagavatam? Everyone is going to read about it. Parikshit Maharaj made a mistake. Is that in Bhagavatam? Lord Shiva made a mistake. That's that in Bhagavatam. He was running after Mohini Murti. That's that in Bhagavatam. I mean, like, Chitraketu Maharaj, Chitraketu Maharaj made a mistake. Bhagavatam. Why all Bhagavatam is talking of all these with desires, with mistakes, all this, just to show us how from our stage we can come to a stage of pure devotional service. Right? That's
Very the literature, right, bro? Like, you have hopes, basically. That's the whole point.
Yeah, we have hopes. Exactly.
Bhagavatam.
And like here, like someone may say, okay, brahmachari, and then you want to get married. Here, there is a section in Bhagavatam to actually say, okay, if you want to do that, turn to Krishna. This is how you, live. And we'll see how later on Kardama Muni will actually enjoy with his wife such a long time. Like, and then, but finally he's like, say, okay, done. You have
Also,
Krishna.
in these prayers, we can understand the mood of Kardama Muni, as I asked you initially. That yes, it is very clear that he had this desire of getting married, and which Krishna knew, although he was probably at the time maybe subsiding his desire. No, I just want to focus. That's what we generally do in our devotional service. But Krishna knows that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that certain stances say, okay, desire aside, you have to be pure devotees, desire aside. But the Bhagavatam is saying, deal with that desire, be honest to that desire, and come to Krishna and say, okay, this desire is there, and either like in our prayer is take it away, or Krishna, I have this desire, fulfill it in such a way that it brings me closer to you. And then we see, I mean, just like putting our desires aside is not going to help us. It's better to deal with it and either pray to Krishna and take it away or deal it in a proper way. Bhagavatam, that's why it's so beautiful. Like everything is there in Bhagavatam. So, okay, already 10 o'clock. I went over because a long weekend also. So, thank you all so much. Shri Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyasya, Kripa Sindhubhyo, Chapatyam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
So, what
Prabhuji.
tomorrow? Are you giving class tomorrow?
If you all want.
Sure, sure.
Let's
Next.
Yeah, we will cover Karthik's Prabhuji when you're traveling, right? So extra classes tomorrow.
up to all of you if you want to do it. I was actually planning to finish this chapter, but I mean next few verses I will go fast, but let's see. If you want to do 1 hour class tomorrow, we can do it, but I'll post a poll on the group. Yes,
I cannot join, Prabhuji, sorry. Tomorrow, some
Oh.
friends are coming. Yeah.
I mean, we'll just keep a Sunday schedule. That's okay. Next Sunday. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.